What's up, guys? Welcome to Spawncast episode 68, right, Evan?
Yep, 68.
It's 68. Very good, very good. I'm actually joined by a couple people here. Max is back. You were at a convention, right, Max?
Yeah, Tokyo and Tulsa was a big guest out there. Thank you to everybody. I had tons of people actually walking up saying they love my stuff. But the main thing that was crazy is the amount of people who said they watch me every week on the Spawncast. The guy who did the audio video for my presentation, super cool dude. This guy who stopped me in the hallway, was taking random pictures with me, like everybody. So yeah, shout out to all the Spawncast people who stopped me.
That's pretty cool. So a bunch of people recognize you from the podcast, huh?
Yeah, which I didn't. I mean, I wasn't sure how many people would even show up because I'd never done an out-of-state convention as a guest, but tons and tons and tons of fans walking up. That was super cool. But then all the Spawncast fans, that was like mind-blowing on top of everything else.
Well, we're going to be testing that next month, right, Sean?
Yes, we are.
Yes, Sean's with me as well here tonight. We're going up to Long Island, going up to New York, so yep. We're gonna find out. I have to figure out how far Austin John is from that convention. Maybe he can like go out there. I think he's in New Jersey or something, so he might not be terribly far away from that.
I mean, yeah, he should go.
He told me how to break Octopath Traveler, so I gotta at least say thank you to him in person if he's there, because now my Octopath Traveler characters are just super broken.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He told me how to get endgame weapons like 18 hours in.
Yep. Yeah. I know that too, yeah.
So I have like all endgame stuff now. So it's pretty awesome. We're gonna talk about Octopath and everything, and then we have OJ, PlayerEssence. OJ, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's good to be here again.
Yes. And then we have Jordan Fringe. Jordan, how's it going, man?
It's going good. I'm happy to be here, and I'll also be at that New York convention as well.
Oh, so, cool. Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
yes. Sean and I have we have a panel, right, Sean?
12:30 on Sunday.
12:30 on Sunday.
I don't know when my panel is. I'm doing it with Alex C&D. No clue when it is.
Cool. Cool.
But it'll be fun. It'll be a good convention.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a good time. That's gonna be a good time. We're up there on Saturday, Sean. We're staying through to Sunday, right? And then we're coming home. So that's gonna be. Yeah, I wanted Jordan to be here because we had yet another leak for Spyro, which we'll talk about as well. That'll be fun. And then of course we have Evan. Evan's back. What's up, Evan?
Always busy, always working.
Evan's always on the move. Very good, very good. So what's everyone been playing? We got to jump in this quick. What's everyone been playing this past week? Yeah, I figured Octopath would come up. Yeah,
Octopath.
I mean, but I know Sean's been playing other stuff though, and we're gonna have a whole thing about Octopath because I know Evan's been playing Octopath. I already know Max pretty much cleared Octopath. At this point.
I beat it, and so now I'm playing Mega Man Legacy Collection, Mega Man X Legacy Collection. I beat both those.
Yes. Are you embargoed on that?
Yes, I'm very embargoed up to the eyeballs until Tuesday. But I mean, it's Mega Man. It's great. It cleans up great, and the new modes are great.
Yeah, it's Mega Man X. That's the thing that I think a lot of people are curious about. That's the thing that you're probably mostly embargoed over is those modes, right? Because there's the boss rush modes. There's the mode where you can fight two different bosses at the same time. Looked great. And then they had, I know, of course, they have like their museum mode where you go through all the artwork and everything. So I know those are probably what you're mostly embargoed under is a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's got an easy mode. That's the thing that surprised me most. That they put a special easy mode where you basically take no damage.
Yeah. I saw that. Who you call it? Somebody had the screenshot on that, and I remember I was talking about that at one point. But that was interesting. I saw that and I said, okay, good, because that means that because some of those like Mega Man, people regard something like X3 as pretty difficult.
Yeah,
for a lot of people. That's actually my favorite Mega Man X game is X3, so I'm pretty familiar with it at this point. But I do understand that it is difficult. The first time I was playing it, I was like, okay, this is pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually good to have that easy mode. 9 and 10, I think, had that too, which helped out. For a lot of people, but so you're mostly rolling through the X collection now. Very cool. I'm gonna be I'm buying that physically on Tuesday right away.
Kind of physically. Sorry.
They're gonna hit us with that code, but they gave us a cleaning cloth, I think, last time. But this does mean that I'll get X3 on a cartridge.
Yes,
something I have not been able to attain because it's like $200 to $250 online for that.
All of the good ones are on the cartridge, so that's good. All the really good ones are.
You got to get. I know almost all of us have this, but the 8-bit Tendo thing, this indie controller, this thing is so cool. I was using this because I've beaten all the X games now for my review. And man, having a Super Nintendo controller to play Super Nintendo games feels awesome.
Yeah, Evan and I turned one of those into a fight stick.
Yep.
Yep, we ripped it apart. And they also now have the SNES 8-bit DOE or NES 8-bit DOE DIY kits now, where they send you the board and it can actually go into an original Super Nintendo shell. Like if you have your original Super Nintendo controller and everything, and you want that original feel, you can actually put it into that and it fits, which is cool. They're actually sending one of those over to me so I can check it out. That's gonna be cool. I want to do a whole video on that. But yeah, you're right, Max. Those are awesome controllers, outstanding controllers. It's probably it's as close to the type of D-pads Nintendo was putting out back with the NES and the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and I mean those bosses actually could be real fast and real hard, and I beat all of it no problem with one battery, basically one battery charge of that actually. So.
Yeah, the battery's good on that too. Yeah, we're gonna be testing that Pro controller out to see how that D-pad does, because that has some mispresses at times. So we'll see. Yeah, Sean, which I know you have not been playing Octopath. That's the interesting thing. You and Jordan are the two outliers here that have not played any Octopath or been playing Octopath at all. I know you've been playing a couple things. What have you been up to?
Been playing. Well, I played Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
You bought it again, or did Nintendo send you that?
No, I bought it, man.
Wow, you bought it straight up. Interesting.
I'm thinking about buying it myself actually tomorrow. I'm not joking.
It's such a good. It's such a fun game, and like I don't know. I loved it on the Wii U, but like playing it back through, like I had forgotten like so many just basic things about the game because it's been like 4 years, so it was still pretty fresh to me. It was still a lot of fun, and I really liked the Odyssey inspired levels. I thought they were pretty clever and fun. I didn't beat them in 5 minutes like some other people said they did. I don't really know what that was about, but mostly I've been playing Shining Resonance Refrain, which minor quibbles aside, I really like the game. I really think it's a good game. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the game because of Octopath, of course, but I mean it's so different because it's an action RPG as opposed to a turn-based RPG, which I mean I consider those to be, I don't know, like they're not different genres per se because the core elements are still similar, but like gameplay in action RPGs is so different than it is in turn-based RPGs. Like, I don't know. I used to hate, it's funny because I used to hate action RPGs. Like growing up, I would only play turn-based and I would always shy away from the action RPGs. But as I get older, I seem to kind of flip-flop and I seem to like the action RPGs more.
Yeah, I did. So you did Shining Resonance, right? And then you did Ease 8.
Yep.
So you've already been doing those back to back now.
Yeah. It's been, as I think not really in the same realm, but Code of Princess EX. I got a review copy for that, and I'll be reviewing that towards the end of the month. So, another sort of, action game with RPG elements.
Cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, and then I did see Chad Sarant, your donation dropped, but I did see it when it came up saying Octopath 20XX and Captain Toad and bought Wild Guns, which Wild Guns is actually a pretty cool adaptation of the older one. He said, "Rip my wallet." Yeah, a lot of people are spending quite a bit of money now on a lot of these releases coming out. But 20XX, that's one that I was also playing this past week, and I actually like that game a good bit. It's good if you're a big Mega Man fan. But Captain Toad was an interesting one because I didn't know how many people would buy it, since it was, that's another game that's basically a straight up Wii port, right, Sean? I mean, they do have Odyssey levels in it. But.
Yeah, they got Odyssey levels. There's kind of a shitty 2-player mode in there where it's kind of like Super Mario Galaxy, like not a big deal. But I mean, you got to figure, like, I think Captain Toad sold maybe 1.5 mil on the Wii U. So it's not like, probably a lot of Nintendo Switch owners have played it. It also is, of course, available on the 3DS. But
yeah, they got it on the 3DS, and people were saying it actually runs well on there.
Yeah, but I mean, that 3DS screen, like, it's just so hard to go back.
It hurts.
I also, what I also played? Splatoon 2. I have not played Splatoon 2. It's got to be at least 6 or 7 months. Like, my 14-year-old cousin, I was on vacation. He was like, "I want to challenge you to Splatoon 2 1-on-1." I was like, "All right, bitch." And so like I had to update my Splatoon copy and like where I was.
This is your nephew, you said?
No, it's a cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he is, but he's somehow related to me.
Are you actually related to him?
Yeah, we're related.
Okay.
Well, It's a really weird story.
I'm picturing a 14-year-old wearing flat brim Nintendo hats and with that facial hair somehow.
No, see, we're not like blood because it's my first cousin's mother's son who didn't have it with my uncle, and my uncle is blood. My aunt wasn't. And then she passed away, and my cousin somehow adopted him. Like I said, it's a really weird story. But anyways, so I boot up the game, and like I'm like a level like 20 or something, and he's like a level 72. I beat that bitch's ass so bad. I was just, oh man, it was so satisfying. I was like, don't ever challenge me again.
Great with the kids, dude.
Yeah, of course.
You just explained Kingdom Hearts story, so now I understand it. Now I understand what's going on here.
Oh yeah, NX Revolution with the $2 asking if are we streaming that direct tomorrow?
Oh yeah,
Does that happen?
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good, dude. Can't wait.
Yeah, there's it doesn't appear there's gonna be a direct in July. And a lot of people have been saying that even online now. So
I didn't even hear that rumor.
yeah, there was supposed to be one tomorrow, and everyone was like, on Sunday.
Yeah, good that you didn't hear it. Don't waste your time with it.
Yeah, so
I don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about you, OJ? What you been up to, man?
Just playing Octopath like crazy. Fantastic game. One of the best Switch games. Been hearing about some pretty cool stuff. I know we're going to talk about Octopath later, but news-wise, been hearing about some great stuff, third party in terms of sales and stuff. So that's good. I got a review code for Captain Toad, so I need to actually start playing that more. So so I'll start playing that. I'll stream it at some point. So yeah.
Octopath taking over, man.
Yeah, I got Dead Cells 2. I did play a bit of that, so that's cool.
Yep. I've been playing Dead Cells as well. But yeah. Evan has not touched it, and he could tell you all about that. Like, he hasn't touched the Switch version or anything. He hasn't even looked at that. I just have the Switch version. But Evan has been playing it on PC quite a bit, and I actually did a video on Dead Cells on the PC like a little over a year ago on this channel. So we've been following this game for a while, waiting for it. I actually tweeted at Motion Twins after I did that video. I was like, hey, this would be a good game on the Switch to bring over. I think it would work well. And they were like, we'll look into it. And here you go. Now it's coming to the Switch.
So thank you, Spawnwave. Yes. It's all you.
Hey, that tweet actually got some attention. So it was pretty funny to see that. But that game's been around for a while. They've been working on it, Evan, right? For a long time.
Yeah, it's been on early access for a few years now.
Yes. And it's releasing on the PC as well around the same time.
Yep. And the way it feels currently is so much different than what it was originally, and it's great. Everything they added is just fantastic.
That's the PC version, not the Switch version we're embargoed under. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I'm definitely talking about the PC version.
They're pretty much exactly the same, but we're talking about the PC version.
We are talking about the PC version. I would not know anything about the PC version, even though So
I can tell you, along with Evan, the PC version is very, very good. So make sure you don't sleep on Dead Cells. And it's going to be coming out physically later on in the month as well. Mm-hmm. So look into that as well, just because it's pretty cool to see these kind of games show up as physical releases on the Switch. So that's good to see also. So a lot of Octopath I'm hearing. What about you, Jordan? You don't have Octopath yet, right?
I do not.
Okay, so what have you been playing instead?
It's been more of a busy week for me.
Okay.
Recently, because I have to travel towards the end of next week, so I've been trying to I'm an editor, so I try to get a bunch of work done ahead of time, so I'm not like worrying about it while I'm traveling on my laptop. So it's been more of that. I played a couple rounds of Mario Tennis Aces, but that's about it.
Did you play it after that patch that went out?
When did the patch come out?
Oh gosh,
a couple days ago.
19th.
Yeah, I played it before that. It was before that then.
Yeah. They nerfed Baby Bowser.
I did hear. Okay.
Yeah. They also made adjustments to the trick shots, so they're not like easily spammable anymore.
You can't spam them as much anymore, which is awesome. So yes, they worked to fix that game because the spamming of trick shots was annoying, and Baby Bowser was really annoying.
They also made a number of adjustments in terms of like the trick shots, but just kind of like the flow of the gameplay. It doesn't just seem so broken like when you play it at this point. From what I've been seeing, it seems a little bit more balanced when you actually like apply tennis strategy. You're going to get the point more so than people just, spamming the trick shot, like you said. So they made some good adjustments.
To be fair, I usually don't play. I play like the basic one. I don't play with all the bells and whistles and stuff on. I just play like straight up like tennis, like none of like I don't do any of the crazy shots or anything. So I didn't know as much about the trick shots, but when I did get in there, people were just trick shotting all over the place. If the ball went behind you, you would just backflip and just smack it back and everything. It was like,
it's kind of dumb. I mean, they balanced it out. It's still stupid, but they balanced it out a lot better. You know?
Evan, you had a couple issues with aces though. I remember you sent me a message about that. I think it was mostly about you playing online was having issue with.
Oh yeah, the online was garbage. While I was playing it, it was not in a good
still
shape.
Broken, Jesus.
The problem I noticed was it seems that a person hosts and it just picks randomly between the two people, but the inputs, if you put them in and you're lagging to the other person, the inputs won't go through. So if you're moving, and since it's momentum based, it'll start your character to move, but then you'll lag, so you'll stop, and then you'll start again, making all characters move slower than they fully would against someone who's actually hosting the game. And if you actually input the shot when the ball's coming at you, but that's the moment it lags, that input doesn't go through, so you can get hit with a body shot pretty easily. It's just obnoxious.
Got it. Yeah, I play online occasionally now. Octopath has taken up more of my time, and then Dead Cells and some other stuff. But when I do play online, I don't have as much of an issue with the basic mode. I had more of an issue with the trick shots and stuff that were going on with input lag on that. But like the basic one, I don't really have too many issues with. But I also got that sweet upgraded internet now, so that might help.
Yeah, man.
Let me, Jordan, anything else, man? There's a lot of aces recently.
It's just that, I haven't had much time for anything else, but I have a backlog I got to eventually get through.
Well, let me ask you, are you looking into Octopath more and more now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game that I know I want to put a lot of time into if I pick it up. And I know right now I don't have a lot of time, and it would be hard balancing enjoying the game versus neglecting work. So it's something that probably in like a lull around October, I think would be a best time for me, because I know September I'll be busy with Spyro stuff at the end.
You know what Octopath is good for? It's a good my video's rendering, let me grind some levels game.
It's that, and I'll also say you can actually pick it up and put it down pretty well. Something that annoyed me during my review a little bit is that every time you go to like a new town and you're about to start like the next person's like main story mission, it actually does like a previously on style thing. It actually pops up this big title card that says like so-and-so came from this village and the reason they're in this town. It like does a quick refresher. So even if you put it down for a month, you'd easily be able to be like, oh yeah, I'm here because I'm looking for this person who betrayed my family.
Well, that's good to know. That's definitely a better incentive. I'll have to look into it for sure now. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so I would look into that more though, Jordan, you're right. But let's jump into, I guess let's just move into Octopath first thing. It topped the charts in media creates in Japan pretty easily, over 110,000 units sold there. It was the top in the UK in terms of revenue. I believe in terms of units, it was still behind Crash, which Crash is ridiculous in the UK. It's kind of how it's also, it's a $40 game. So there's a lot of stuff helping, but apparently it was very close, and a lot of stuff was kind of working towards Crash being above that. But Octopath did well in terms of revenue there, and from what we've heard, it's been selling out and stuff pretty much everywhere. They've even had to tell people that it's buy it digitally in Japan at this point. We were also hearing, and I know you heard this as well, OJ, that they are working to restock going into August as best they can. So I'm going to be curious of the sales charts for this week when we see those next week to see if they really had that much of an issue with stock.
Yeah. Apparently they had a restock at the Yodobashi or whatever camera place, one of the big retail chains in Japan, and it sold out in 3 hours. So they had a restock, and all the copies were gone in 3 hours. So it's interesting. I would be interesting to see how much was the restock. It couldn't have been a lot, because I don't think they were expecting their initial stock. They sold through 90%. Japan sold through 90% of their stock. Yeah. So like that's unheard of for a third-party game on the Switch. No third-party game has ever sold through that much on the Switch. So
I didn't expect it, but I sort of was leaning towards that. So my review copy was digital, but I was out of town when I was up at the convention in Oklahoma. I woke up Friday morning and actually ran to a GameStop in Oklahoma to buy a copy. Just like literally waited in line to make sure I could get one right at open, just because I was like, these are going to sell it physically. I want one for my collection for sure.
Yeah, that's a great game to get just for the collection. I think that, believe it or not, I think it might actually end up being a game like 20 years from now that might be kind of hard to get. As weird as that sounds, I do. Just because it's very popular right now, and they're just struggling just to stock. So I could see that. And honestly, if you get the really nice special edition that OJ, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
that
yeah,
thing,
man.
that thing is sweet, man.
It is absolutely. If you see that Wayfarers edition, guys, I know it's a little bit pricey for maybe what's in there for some people, but definitely pick it up. I doubt that thing's going to be around for longer. I really don't think they're going to make a lot of those. Like, they didn't tell us, but I just don't think they're going to make a lot of them at all.
Yeah.
So
But
I would
the pop-up, like the pop-up book thing is awesome. It looks so good.
It looks amazing. It doesn't have a traditional art book, which is unfortunate, but it does have that pop-up.
That's the one thing I was kind of like, man, with the artwork you see in that game, it was like that would have been really nice to have in there.
And like some designer notes, like, okay, this is what we were thinking of when we made this, like this is like the art, like that would have been really nice to have, but it doesn't have that. But if you guys see that Wayfarers edition, pick it up because it might be worth a lot in the
I mean,
future.
it's like $40 more. So for a special edition, like we're seeing $150 to $200 special edition right now.
Are we talking about Resident Evil today?
I mean, we can if you want. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know. I definitely don't want to talk about
I saw that special edition pop up and I was like, oh man, that's like I know Max is buying it, but
well, because I'm obsessed with Resident Evil 2. So I got to, well, I'm so weird. I actually want to get the special edition and I also want to get the normal edition just so I can put it in my normal collection. But I want to put the Resident Evil figurine like up in my background.
Oh yeah, well that would actually make a lot of sense for you. Like I said, you're a big Resident Evil fan, so I get why you'd buy it and everything. That makes a lot of sense to me. But like Octopath for what it is and the special editions we're currently seeing, we saw that Call of Duty one, which is insane because they're gonna have their season pass, they're gonna have loot box, they have so much stuff in that game, and then they have this massive special edition and everything. For what we're seeing now, $100 actually is not bad for Octopath's special edition. $40 more than the regular. Go on, Max.
I was going to say, there's this weird resale shop next to my house that is this weird thing where I keep an eye on it. A lot of times I don't buy collector's editions new anymore because about 2 months after a game comes out, all of a sudden, like collector's editions will start piling up for dirt cheap in their display case. It's just a weird thing I've seen over and over again. So now almost every cool collector's edition I get for retail, like I usually, if it's $100 one, I'll get it for $60 in 2 months. So I'm already just sitting there and just like hey, how do you feel about Octopath? I'm just like playing the long game here, and if I don't see it, I'm probably gonna buy it on eBay because I want it real bad.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But Octopath itself, none of us really had a chance to have played it last week because it came out Friday, and we did the podcast Saturdays, and it's obviously a game you want to spend more than 3 hours on before you talk about it. So what's everyone's current thoughts on Octopath? Since I think at this point this will probably be the last time we really talk about it unless anything big happens to it. What are our thoughts on it? I guess
sucks.
I think Sean still hasn't.
I can't put it down.
I think honestly, like if you look at like what the Switch was like, who the Switch is kind of appealing to in terms of like the age and demographics and things, just some of the people that play, I think honestly it's like the perfect Switch game. Like you can play it with the Joy-Cons, it's super comfortable. You can lie down and play. It's just a turn-based RPG. You can play it handheld. You can play it like it looks great dock. There's no compromises or anything that happens outside of the resolution from 1080 to 60, or sorry, from 1080 to 720p. So to me, there's nothing really to complain about. The art style is really great. I mean, there's some issues with some of the game, like by itself, but I'm just saying in terms of it being on the Switch, I can't see a more perfect system for it to be on.
This blows my mind because Sean, a lot of people might not realize this because a lot of people were subscribing to him recently, obviously throughout the year. Sean's RGT stands for Retro Gaming Tube, and this is Octopath Traveler is one of the most retro games released in a while that's in the mainstream media right now for gaming. He hasn't bought it yet.
This man's calling out this man's channel.
I mean, I have the Best Buy tab up right now.
Okay. Go swing by and pick Octopath up as soon as you can.
No, see, tomorrow I have a busy day because my PSP Go charger comes in. I just found my PSP Go, and I remember I put like a bunch of games on it, and I'm really excited to play it tomorrow.
That's your busy day.
I mean, I have some videos I'm working on.
Yeah, it's like do anything. My PSP Go charger's here.
I'm editing for 14 hours tomorrow, and you're like, I've got a charger cable.
No, I got videos.
Wait, did you order it on Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sunday
like
delivery.
seriously, this man in between taking vacations all the time, Tinder, and I mean, this man he's all Sean. I love you, bro.
The king of
You
relaxation.
got the best life at all. I'll just tell you that right now.
On the topic though of Octopath, it's so perfect for handheld. Like one of my main concerns was that grinding was going to be too slow, because as somebody who's played a lot of handheld RPGs and a lot of console RPGs, typically handheld RPGs are faster, of like every 4 battles you'll get a level instead of like 10 battles like a console Final Fantasy. And I feel like they actually really did that balance well. And I feel like they also did the map of like, the map is very, very full. Every single, like every section of it typically has like a hidden secret or a shrine to get a subclass or a side quest. It's one of those things where it really kind of feels like a really blown up, fantastic retro handheld RPG. And it's, man, I'm so in love with it.
I'm sorry, I still can't get over this. Sean, you said you have a Best Buy gift card?
Yeah.
When did you get it?
July 5th.
And why don't you just order Octopath Traveler last week?
Man, I can't think for the future. You don't know what the future
But
holds.
Best Buy does like 2-day shipping now, just like Amazon. You just order it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to leave your house, and it would be there by Tuesday.
Yeah, I see it. Get free shipping. Get it by Tuesday. I have the site up. The gift card's over there. I gotta walk over there and get
Notice
it.
how he's had, I was about to say, he's had the site up for like 5 minutes now, still hasn't hit order.
Because the gift card's over there.
That's
You know
such
what
a
the
far
thing
walk.
about Octopath though? Really, I wanted to say real quick, like I think one of my favorite things about it is like when you break somebody, the opponents.
I was
like,
giving Sean a hard time.
Yeah. The slow-mo.
The slow-mo camera is cool. I'm trying to save Sean here. I'm trying to save Sean because y'all just ganging up on it.
It's fine. It's fine.
The slow-mo camera, like when you break somebody's, I think that was one of the best elements. Like especially if you hit all of them at the same time, it just has this really cool effect to it. That's just so fun.
It has that impact, you know.
Yeah.
It feels like you just
Well,
got
it ever so slight, it like zooms in by like 5% and slows down. One of my favorite things is like all the birds. I'm like almost every bird class enemy in the game is weak to arrows. So if you do that spam attack where it just rains arrows for 3 turns, it's so fun to do that and immediately see like even if they have a bunch of shield, it just slow mo breaks them all one by one. It feels so powerful.
And like you feel the rumble coming from the top, and it's just like break, and like you just feel like piercing them. Like you feel like as if you're freaking like Robin Hood or something. Like you're literally piercing them with the
from
arrow.
above.
Yeah, man,
I think
it's fantastic.
I think I should say beyond the grind, because we keep talking about killing little creeps. The bosses in this game are actually incredible.
Dude,
I don't want to spoil the fights, and I don't think we should. I've
Yeah.
helped the guy out on Twitter actually with one of them because he couldn't get past it for a while. But the fights are a little bit more detailed than just do you use your best buff and then just spam. It's not that all the time, and it's so good.
So I actually beat all the main stories before the game came out. Having to complete that without a strategy guide was so tough. I'll be honest, I lost, I think, to 60% of bosses I lost on the first try, just because you have to fight smart. You can just level up and power them down, but you have to fight smart. A lot of them actually behave very differently. That was so cool.
One of them I was out leveled pretty heavily, and he still kept killing me over and over just because of how his boss mechanic worked. So like it's one of those things where it's really great.
Yeah, so they thought a bit when they made this game. We'll say that because I've run into a few of those too. I know you're talking about. But just a few. I've mostly just been grinding away. I want to just blow through everything with obscene power. So
I would say real fast, I just want to thank everybody for the love. That Octopath video, I put my Octopath Traveler up review a couple days later than everybody else, and it still blew up, and I'm getting tons of nice words. Even in chat, I've seen people in chat saying they liked my video. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching that. I was sad I had to put it out late, but I'm glad I got, people enjoyed it.
yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. That's the thing. A lot of times people just want to hear your thoughts on it. So like I want to hear your thoughts on a topic we have here soon that we're probably going to start moving over to, unless there's anything else anyone want to talk about for Octopath before we moved on.
Go buy Octopath.
Yeah. is that towards Sean?
I'm putting in the gift card now.
Just aim it towards the camera. I'll order it for you, Sean.
Dude, we're just trying to help you get it before your busy day tomorrow.
Very busy day, dude.
Playing PSP Go.
Hey, you know what? I will say you found your PSP Go. I still don't have one, so I need to get one.
I got it for free actually, from an old coworker at my old job. She just gave it to me.
I wonder how much those are now. Those go for.
They're a bit, because A, they sold like crap, so there's less in circulation, and B, there's a certain kind of hacking you could do on those that you couldn't do the others. The chicken wire mod.
Yeah, I need to. I also need to buy another Vita because I want one that I'm doing a Vita collection because I think that's going to be like the thing that's impossible to find in 10 years. So.
It's ordered. It'll be here Tuesday.
There you go, Square. We sold one on camera. Wow,
Everybody,
Let's go.
F in the chat to pay respects.
Let's go. Seriously though, Sean, you're going to have a blast.
Oh yeah,
Trust
dude.
me.
I loved the demo of it. It was just
made it better from the demo. It's even better from the demo, so that's good.
with Shining Resonance. I just didn't, because I'm probably not going to do a video on it because it's been so long, and obviously I'm just getting it now. So it's kind of one of those games I just want to enjoy, you know. So, but yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Actually, I'd be curious on your thoughts for that. You should do it, Sean. You should do a video on it, even if it's just a gameplay video where you're playing it and grinding and talking about it. I'd just be curious on your thoughts.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you also handle things differently, so you could just do a let's break down the gameplay. The RPG Switch deserves, and you doing this on the thumbnail.
Mostly because you have a lot of knowledge about old RPGs. So
Yeah, that's true.
you know, I mean, you're gonna be talking about the Sega Saturn tomorrow, right?
I might have to delay that till Monday because
You ended up pushing
about.
your August Switch games to tomorrow.
That's probably going to be tomorrow. I gotta fit it. I gotta do that tonight.
Nice. That'd be cool. All right. Very good. Very good. We'll be keeping an eye out for that one then. So Max, you played No Man's Sky next.
Well, no. So I played the what is it called? Outline or whatever the sorry, what is the stupid update? I played everything up to next. I played all the new updates. So
Okay.
I haven't had access to next yet.
I saw you on Twitter.
Foundation. That's what I played.
I saw you on Twitter putting something up that said the update file was like 40 gigabytes or something like that.
It's not really. It's like 8.9, and the game itself is 5. So on top of that, I guess it's like 16 total or whatever.
When is next out? That's
Tuesday. Somebody told me that if you switch your time on your clock to Australian time, it'll start installing at about 11 p.m. Otherwise, in America, it's going to start auto installing the update at about 11 a.m.
on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yeah.
Okay, cool. You're gonna be checking that out.
Yeah, I'm going to do another review. I'm basically playing through because people know I've actually been very critical of No Man's Sky. I did a video that really blew up last year.
People hate you for that, right?
People were mad, but I think overall
people really did not like you for that video, if I remember right.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of people whose picture was a little crystal telling me to drown myself in Sean Murray's delicious tears. But yeah, so I did a video last year called The Lies of No Man's Sky. But I think part of being a reviewer is being able to go back and critically look at something a second time with open eyes. So I want to see what it's like now. So my plan is I'm actually playing it a lot tomorrow to try and get a feel for the Foundation update. That way I can see this new one that's supposed to have third-person view and not fake multiplayer. We'll see how it plays.
I'm curious. Did anybody here on the podcast play No Man's Sky at all when it came out in 2016?
I did.
Right here.
Okay, I did too. Yeah.
Not only did I play it, I'm the only person in the world who played it basically a week before launch. I managed to get somebody to give me a copy before launch. So one of the things, I got a bunch of backlash at launch as well, because when I reviewed it, I had the first review up in the world, and I said like, wow, this game isn't super great. And people are like, you didn't play the week 1 giant patch. And then I installed the patch and it was exactly the same. And Sean Murray basically called my video a liar. He actually said that anybody who releases a video on launch day without the day 1 update didn't really play the game. It's identical. It was one of those things, but that lie, like everybody bought the lie. Nobody played the unpatched version but me. But
it was one of my biggest disappointments in gaming in recent time. I'd probably put Mass Effect still ahead of that, but No Man's Sky I was really hyped for. I was like, this is gonna be my game of the year. This is everything I've wanted in a video game. The space travel, the everything in general about it. And when you get it, it's like, all right, go collect elements.
it was a little it was
boring. Like sure, some visuals were like, okay, that's cool, but literally the new update that comes out next week was everything promised 2 years ago. And
I'm in a weird spot because I didn't hate it at launch. I actually thought it had a lot of cool stuff, but it was one of those games that I feel like once you got even a little bit into it, it was done. Like I use a phrase in a couple of my reviews, which is playing your hand, where it's like a game builds up anticipation, it builds up, and then it drops it. And I feel like Octopath does that really well, like where you play one character and you think you know the combat, and then you get another character and it completely changes the combat, and it slowly builds itself up. So when it plays its hand, it blows your mind. there is no mind blowing at all. They just right at the start, they're like,
Yeah.
you just fly a ship around, doop-a-doop.
Can I talk about that just a little bit? Because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not huge into like, you know, the games like this, but I wanted to give it a shot back then. My channel, I wasn't full time back then when it came out, you know, I was still having another day job and all that. So I didn't get a ton of time to get into it and like play it. But from what I played, man, it just seems like, yeah, full of promises. I bought it on hype too, full of promises, full of everything. Then when I played it, like you said, it was just like, this is it. Like, it just seems so basic and so boring. And it didn't have any of the layers that Mr. Murray, you know, was talking about. And I kind of realized that it was a sham, you know, because this studio isn't a huge, big studio that can invest so much time and money into it. It felt like they were trying to hype this up to be some type of crazy game. And then you end up realizing that they didn't take the time to do the other things that independent games do, you know, like mechanics wise and stuff. I mean, obviously it can be a basic game. That's fine as long as the gameplay is good, but the gameplay didn't seem that fun either. So, I mean, I really like how you explained it. It just seemed like there was no layer to it. Like you said with Octopath or even other games, there was no layer. It was just, this is it. And that's that.
Well, and it had so many things that they clearly didn't have time to balance, like the weird, like intergalactic police, where if you start destroying certain planets too much, those weird little robots come down and attack you. And it's one of those things where it's like, how can you tell me that destroying stuff is going to give me resources and that's so I can explore, and then tell me not to do that? You're telling me not to explore. That was such a big oversight.
It was a weird contradiction in the game that made it very unfun, especially in a tough situation where you needed stuff, but you couldn't even defeat the people that were coming after you, and it just kept getting worse, and the machines that came after you were even bigger and worse. And don't get me wrong, with throughout the game, there is some like really jaw-dropping like visual moments, like if it's like you go to a certain one, there's only like this one little cube, you go in and you see all the lighting and it gets really intense with the music, and it's like, okay, this is pretty cool, but it ultimately leads to nowhere, and it just kind of keeps doing that repetitive cycle of there's going to be cool stuff and then you never get to that cool stuff because it's just a stringing along of the same thing. And that's what I kept getting. Like the first 4 hours I loved. I was like, wow, cool, this is new. I'm going to planets, I'm seeing all this cool stuff. And then you keep going, and 10 hours in you're like, that I haven't done anything new besides see a planet that sometimes
we're gonna read the super chats here in a little bit, guys, for everyone who is doing that. But I do want to point out, Chad Sarant says that No Man's Sky was the definition of hype overload. Do you guys think that in the media and the build up to it, do you think that really hurt it more, so that when it came out and it wasn't up to expectations, would it even be possible?
Sean heard it. Sorry, Dreamcastguy. Mr. Murray heard it. He's the reason why. It's not anybody else's fault but him.
Yeah,
he lied. He lied. So it's his fault.
He did lie, but the problem was, I definitely think that this was a cyclical pattern of the media. Like, so many of these websites knew people were excited about it, and they just kept putting him on camera and dragging out more and more weird lies from him over and over again. And he just kept feeding him like, I think this will probably be dead. So it just became this cyclical cycle and they were making tons of money on those videos. So they just kept dragging him back for more.
But the backing of Sony though, too, like Sony's backing this game up. It's like, whoa, a big publisher, an indie developer. So like when you see like a game that's being backed by a big publisher, for example, not to the same degree, but like, let's say like a Runner 3, Nintendo obviously was talking to them about stuff like that. It obviously gets a little bit more play, like, or like a Fast RMX or something that like a bigger publisher backs, you know, like Shenmue. That was like a Sony type of deal, you know, with Shenmue 3. So like it was also that too. So I mean, I think it was a combination of like what you said. The media obviously was doing that, but also Sean and Sony didn't do any favors there with them acting like this game was going to be like, you know, the greatest.
I actually did not like how Sony handled it, in that Sony so quickly threw him under the bus. Like I kind of. Like, poor Sean Murray. Like, Sean Murray, let's face it, Sean Murray dug the deepest hole he possibly could, asked for gasoline, and then set himself on fire in the bottom of the hole. Like, nobody was saving that guy. But I'm so annoyed the fact that Sony was like, yeah, what a liar. Like, even Shuya Yoshida was like, yeah, guys, go get him. It was like, oh, come on. Like,
they threw him under the bus quick, man. They didn't even care.
They didn't even start the bus first. They were like, well, here, you son of a bitch.
They knew he was lying too. They knew the game wasn't the game that they were marketing. Yet, as soon as that wasn't us.
Look how brave Sean is in the chat now. Now that he's ordered Octopath Traveler, telling people about likes and stuff in the chat now.
I'm thinking of banning him. I mean, geez.
And chips, which could kill me.
I was gonna say you were eating those chips where the camera was jumping to you, and I was like, wait a minute, we've been here before.
People talking about culling too. Yeah. Oh man, that was that culling 2 situation was insane.
We needed it. The gaming universe needed a badly failed battle royale mode. That's
the most catastrophic fail I've ever seen. I played that game the last hour that it'll ever exist. I literally played it as it deleted.
Yeah, man. I liked your video on it. I lived vicariously through your bad game, through the bad game. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Oh man. See, look, now people are clicking the like. See what you've done, Sean?
God damn it!
I'm sorry.
Now people are clicking the like button. My gosh, this might be the worst. Yeah, this is the worst. Okay, so we did No Man's Sky. Gearbox. Did you guys see the typo? This might be a smaller topic. I don't know how many of you guys saw this. Did you guys see the ridiculous typo that took place by Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, the whole thing, Sega, Alien Colonial Marines, where it had one of the biggest issues with it was the AI. Turns out there was an A where there shouldn't have been an A, making the word tether, which means that then your enemies that you're fighting, right? They don't know what's around them. The whole point of environment tether was that they know what's going on around them. Can they use, say, this pipe to go through and flank you, stuff like that? They were pretty much just dumb. It was a single letter.
They used to, that was the most famous thing in so many videos where they would literally try and walk up walls. They would not understand that it was a wall instead of the floor. So they try and walk on walls all the time. And just because of one typo.
Isn't that insane? That is the most mind-boggling thing I've ever heard. And then they put up a job listing that is asking people to look for typos in their code. And in order to try to get the job, like to actually fill out the application, you have to be able to tell them the difference between tether or tether.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Like, how do you not notice that though?
Well, so my cousin actually does code bug checking for Sprint or Verizon, and she said that literally her team just sits there and they keep passing unfinished code back and forth is their job. It's basically there's like 3 to 6 other teams that they're constantly working on projects, and they hand you part of it and you check part of it and then you pass it off and you pass it off. And some of these are beta builds that never enter a phone, and some of these are like completed versions that you need to recook one more time. And she talks about crazy oversight like that all the time, where you're trying to fix, oh, there's this weird thing where the screen flickers, and you spend 6 weeks working on that, and then you accidentally put an extra bug in there where it'll think that you're touching the screen wrong. So I hear that bug checking in games is so difficult.
I feel like that just is like I think that pretty much just tells us the game was rushed. It missed QA, budget cuts, something happened that they missed that completely. But it is just crazy.
If you remember, like the whole lawsuit that went down where a lot of the money that was given to make that game, Gearbox, and I love Gearbox for Borderlands and all that, but I'm not afraid to call them out on the crap that they did, taking that money and most likely using it to make sure that their next Borderlands game was as big as it can be, or whatever they were going to work on next, and really half-assing the Aliens game. Regardless,
they handed the Aliens game off to a whole other team. I thought, like, they just
they basically shifted it as little priority as possible, gave it no attention, no love, and just popped it out. I got the game day one. I was so excited for it. One, because it's like, oh, Gearbox is attached to it. I love Borderlands.
And
I love Aliens.
They even put out that gameplay trailer that looked amazing at the one convention.
Yeah, and it was
just not something that exists.
That's not real.
That trailer actually got them sued for $2.1 million in Australia. Successfully sued. That's actually a law of you can't show something that is a false product. That's what the law is considered. And so because of it, they had to remove all those trailers, apologize, and pay $2 million.
Yeah, it was not a good time for them.
Yeah, the reason all this came up, by the way, is this is really funny. The reason this happened is because the game exploded in popularity, kind of online, because it went down to $3. So everyone was like, "It's probably worth $3," and everyone bought it. I already had it, but everyone's buying it. They're looking into the mod, and that typo, I think that was actually found like a year ago. But no one really figured it out until recently.
And then they tested. I heard when it was tested out, like so when someone fixed it, like the game, besides like the crappiest story and all that other stuff, the enemies and how they reacted and moved around was incredible.
Yeah,
like it was like,
different.
they work now.
I've heard it's a lot better, but certain bosses and stuff still have terrible AI. I've heard it completely fixes the AI, but I heard a lot of the bosses and stuff.
That final fight in the game was already bad.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's apparently it really helps with the enemies that you run. Even the one you run into immediately in the beginning, you can tell right away. Like there are
As it gets
before and
stuck in
after.
the doorway,
Yeah, there's before and after footage on YouTube now of people taking it, and it's crazy. Like they're actually like moving around, they're taking cover, they're flanking you, they're doing all this crazy stuff.
Moving enemies, my God.
Yeah. Well, before they would just run right at you,
Oh,
you know, and that was it.
Yeah.
You just gun them down and you just keep moving. Much different now, much different. So it's pretty cool to see that. But I did buy it when it first came out, and yeah, I was part of that very disappointed mob.
Yeah,
Say that. Yeah, that was not fun. That was not fun.
Luckily, I was working at GameStop at the time,
Mhm.
and we got a bonus. Like our general manager came in and was like, "All right, so like I can't give like a monetary bonus like in terms of like cash extra to your paycheck, but you pick out a game or a collector's edition up to this value, and it's yours." And I was like, "Okay." And Aliens literally came out that day, and they had the collector's edition. I was like, I'll take that because I'm a huge Alien fan. And I was like, yeah, I'll absolutely, I'll take the collector's edition. I'm glad I didn't pay for it.
You're one of the lucky ones. So Jordan, can we talk about Spyro here for a minute?
Oh yeah, that's
let me read you this super chat from Gabe, who said, "Yo Jordan, hashtag Spyro is my bro. I'm loving this live stream. Keep up the good work, bro."
That's
Very
the
cool.
homie. Gabe's awesome.
And then Matches dropped in a super chat. I'm reading these off as we go. Theories on the weird holdup with Spyro Switch. So I talked to you a little bit about this, Jordan, and I wanted to have you on because we were going to talk about Spyro. Spyro popped up again on their own website this time with Switch and PC as platforms that it could be pre-ordered for. And we've already seen it leaked kind of once by Nintendo UK on their own website. So based on what we saw with Crash and everything, we have a feeling that Activision and them are like, oh, maybe we should start putting this stuff on the Switch. PC was the weird one. I don't really get the whole PC thing. But what are your thoughts on the Switch possibility of Spyro?
So do you want me to go into like the full reasoning from what I've been told directly from Activision?
You've been in contact with actual people behind this project. So
yeah,
I'm curious what your thoughts are on it.
So I'll take it back to when Spyro and Crash went into development. It was before Switch kits went out, and this was like right at the time of the Wii U, and like all the third-party companies are like, nah, we don't want to do anything more with this console. It's not selling all that. You know, they don't want to put their games on there. And besides, Crash went on to be PlayStation exclusive. Spyro at the time, they were like, okay, we're just going to focus on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox. We're just not going to worry about Nintendo. So they start development of these games, and they're working on them. And then the Switch comes out, and it's a success, and everyone's loving it, and everyone wants their game on there, to the point where Activision's like, you know, we should probably get this on the Switch like now. So, but at the same time, Toys for Bob is like, well, if we take any resources away from all the hard work we're making on this game, we're either going to have a really bad port come out on the Switch, or we're going to have a game that's not as perfect as it could be, but it's also on the Switch. So the goal at this point is to make sure the game is as perfect as possible. And once it's gold and all the touches are done and it's ready to go out, the Switch version port, whatever it's going to be, like that's going to be a next step for them to work on. And since that new Unreal Engine update came out, it will be an easier task for them. And Toys for Bob did have a helping hand in making sure that Crash came to the Switch pretty easily, as well as they had Imaginators last year for Skylanders come out on the Switch. So they know already how to work with the Switch platform and get everything over there. And their release window, I'm going to say it's a very, very low of coming out this year at all. It's definitely not going to hit on launch. They would have announced it by now. It's too little too late. There's only exactly today. There's 2 months from now it comes out. So it's too little too late to announce it. And it'll probably be late Q1 or Q2 of next year, probably between February, March, or April. Between those months, that we'll probably see it at the latest. I don't think we're waiting a year like we did with Crash. That was a different story with exclusivity. This is just when can they get it out there, and Activision needs to re-promote it and get it out there, and they don't want to just rush it for Christmas. So it will come on the Switch. I was told they do want it on the Switch. It's definitely going to be on there, and this goes for the PC as well, because Crash went to PC. That's why you see a PC listing. It will eventually come out on the PC as well. is from what I'm told. But the Switch is a high priority, but they just want to make sure the game is perfect for everyone who loves Spyro. They want to make sure it's
Unreal.
Right,
it's Unreal Engine too this time, right? Whereas Crash wasn't.
Crash wasn't, right? But the next Crash game will be. So the future of Crash, which there may or may not be a new game next year, would be on the Unreal Engine, and then everything from moving forward would be on that.
So we'd be looking. That means that honestly, if they're dropping on Unreal, they'd probably, I guess, the next Crash they try to push on the Switch as well. Basically everything.
Yes. Yeah, it would come out on all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be no more exclusivity.
Unreal's gaining a lot of hype, like a lot of more and more people are using it and use it. Japan's really started using it now too, like in a lot of different games. Sorry to cut you off, Dreamcast dude.
I was going to say, just from the panel, I was wondering, speculation, do you think that they're purposely dropping these little leaks and hints and stuff of Spyro coming to PC and Switch to drum up more hype to try and show the higher ups? Because clearly, like Jordan is saying, like the developers want to do this. They're working on it. They want, everybody's on board for it. But do you think they're trying to do this to show the people who are signing paychecks, look, we're going to finish the game. It's going to come out in September, but we need to keep working on it for an extra year to put it on these other consoles. People want it.
I mean, if it goes on their website, like
the reason why, I don't mean to cut you off, but like the reason why, like, it is, so it's their website. It makes it a lot different from the Nintendo leak where that someone just put it up like, yeah, it's coming to the Switch. Oh, it isn't. Take it down. With this being on their website, why it's weird because you can only access it through a German terminal. Like you'd have to go to the German version of the website to see it on the UK listing or see it on there. But when you click it, it wouldn't show you where to pick it from a retailer. And since it had two options for Nintendo Switch and PC, those were all found to be code linked to Crash Bandicoot. So I do think that it was an error on someone's part and not an intentional thing to be put out there to be like, what's happening, stuff like that, unless they were going to announce at the panel that it was coming to the Switch, and they did not. So that's why I believe that was just a complete accident because they removed it before the panel started. But that's just from my speculation. It could be intentional for all I know, but everyone who works there, Activision, all of them, they all want it on the Switch. They know it's coming. There are so many people daily that are asking for a Switch version. It will happen. It's just when.
The only reason I say it is because I've seen that a lot. It's the thing I see happen a lot in the game industry lately is whenever we get to talk to people behind the scenes, there's definitely this thing now of like video games are very expensive to make. It's very hard to indie something. So you really need the people with giant paychecks and all the money to try and support you. So I've seen a lot of like accidental leaks lately where it's like, oops, we made this alpha build and it just got out there. Oh man, look at this 8 minutes of gameplay. Oh, how did that happen? And then they end up like, then they get
it's like how the Deadpool movie got made, the first Deadpool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, isn't that kind of like how Crash on Switch got made?
Oh gosh, yeah, we heard about that. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever heard.
Actually, I mean, I'm glad that it came, but that kind of pissed me off too at the same time. Like, they didn't even try. They're like, oh, well, it can work. Oh, well, let's do it instead of just saying, oh, this would be great for Switch, but hey, whatever. Well, I mean, it's still coming. So
in a weird roundabout way, that's the reason we have Sonic Mania is that Christian Whitehead was making Sonic fan games that were getting millions of downloads, and Sega decided to hire him and said, oh, you like Sonic so much? Well, make some ports for us. And so he did a bunch of ports of like Sonic CD to cell phones. And they're like, okay, I guess you know about coding and you know about level design. How about if you try and make your own game then, Hot Shot? And he made Sonic Mania, which blew up again. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, like
made a game better than Sega's Sonic's game.
Yeah, right. And that's just so cool. Of like, I definitely think that like leaks and hype are what created that game. Like Christian Whitehead was the genius behind it, but like our hype formed that.
Speaking of, before we move on, speaking of the fan games and people getting hired that are making these things, did you hear about the person who had to have their PT taken down? Did you hear that Konami offered them an internship, and I guess they're going to go do that? And it was interesting in the write-up they did to tell everybody why they had to take it down. They said that his PT game that he developed, according to him, from Konami Europe, I believe, not Japan, the evil ones, I guess you'd say. Konami Europe and Konami US are much different than Konami Japan, their Japan branch, apparently. Apparently, in the office, everyone really liked it, and it allegedly reinvigorated their interest in building actual games again. Mm-hmm. So I guess take that, keep that in mind, because maybe you see some actual Konami stuff happen in the next couple of years. That'd be cool.
That dude was so happy. I read his thing. He was so happy because he said, like, straight up, he put the PT demo thing out there and everyone was loving it a bunch. And he said, like, 14 hours later, this guy called him on the phone and said, "Hey, bud, like, I got terrible news. I have to be the bad guy. Like, you have to take it down. But would also like to offer you an internship." And he was like, holy hell, that's the dream of a lifetime. So good for him.
This is for you, Jordan, from Gabe asking, how soon do you expect to see Spyro 3 gameplay?
August, sometime in August. There's apparently, I'm hearing rumblings that Gamescom is going to be a decent event for Spyro. Not confirmed, but I did hear that it's definitely, we're getting gameplay of 3 in August, regardless. Okay. But I think that's the event to keep our eyes out for that. But we'll be getting it, and then there's certain information I do know about 3 behind the scenes that is not public knowledge about the development of it. And I don't know how they're going to put it out there, but we'll see. Just keep your eyes out for Gamescom.
Okay, very good. Yeah, Gamescom actually from the lineup, which we'll talk about as we get closer to it, is actually going to be a pretty cool event. I'm thinking, to be honest, there's going to be some cool stuff announced there, so I'm looking forward to that. But that's not for like another month, I think now. So we got
is it mid August or late August?
I thought it was late. I thought it was like the 3rd week in August or something like that. Am I thinking right?
We might get gameplay before then if it's that late in August.
So
but maybe I know they're doing something there.
We basically have time for 7 or 8 more direct leaks between here, fake direct leaks.
Well, I think Gamescom is going to be a bigger presence for places like THQ Nordic and Microsoft. I would say.
It's late. It's late August. It's August 21st to 25th.
So let's before we move on to the next thing, Evan, why don't you give us one of those Discord questions? And we'll do that.
What fits here? I mean, we're talking about third-party sport. Will Ubisoft revealing in the quarterly report that South Park: The Stick of Truth is coming to the Switch sometime in September? Do you believe in this is additional evidence that Nintendo will have a direct in August to announce it and start marketing it?
Oh, I see what you're saying, because Ubisoft said it would be before September is when it would launch.
Yep.
It's possible. That's not like a big like announcement or anything. But it's something that would be in like a sizzle reel, I guess. I feel like that's a game that Ubisoft can just be like, it's coming this day. That's it. That's it.
They probably made it like after South Park. They
definitely did. Yeah, that one, the Fractured, was actually made. Obviously, we know it was made on Snowdrop, whereas the other one, Stick of Truth, is made on the Onyx engine. Which the only other game that I could find that ran on that was Dungeon Siege. So that's probably why they probably had to port that thing over. That engine. So
I mean, like, I don't think that's not an indication. I mean, a lot of people are really like, they want to know the next direct. I would just say, guys, just relax. Wait for it to come. It'll definitely come when it comes. But no, I don't think that's really much of an indicator of anything, because like it is. It's only digital. It's digital only, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be digital only. And they gave that game away to people on the other systems, and it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One at this point. So there's a ton of ways to get it. And honestly, it came out on the 360 and the PS3. I feel like a lot of people have probably already played it. But
I got it.
I
got it on PC for $2.
There you go. See, it's been on Steam sale like a million times. And I actually like the first one more than the second one, to be honest. So that's me. But no, I would honestly, the earliest we'd probably see a direct from Nintendo is probably mid-August to late August, somewhere in there. July was just so close to E3. I don't really know why that like rumor went around so well.
We still got some time, man.
Yeah.
Still got some time.
Yeah, next Sunday. What's next Sunday? 29th. Look forward to it. Oh man. No, I think that game, I think it's just gonna come out, Stick of Truth. They'll just say it's coming out August or September 8th or something. Digital only.
They'll get some sales. I think people will pick it up because like it is a bit of a different experience in the second one.
It's
not it's good. It's really good. It's a solid RPG. Very solid RPG.
I like the first one more, like I said. So yeah, I'm on board with that.
I like them both. I like the second one slightly more, but I think the first one, the combat is really funny. I think the jokes are tighter in the first one. So yeah, I think people will pick it up.
Yeah. Maybe I like the setting more, because the second one was more about them being superheroes, and the first one was them like essentially, I guess, building up to their Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings
stuff.
Yeah.
It was just funnier, I thought.
Skyrim / Lord of the Rings type of deal.
It was just ridiculous. But that was. I would look forward to that. That's a game. How many games have we seen now that get announced? Like Hand of Fate 2, for example, got announced a week before it came out.
Yeah.
So It seems
They
pretty
sent
easy.
I haven't played it yet. They sent it to me and I installed it. I heard it's amazing though.
It is pretty fun.
Evan likes that game a lot. Yeah, Evan did a review-ish video. On
Super
it.
quick, 5 minutes.
Yeah, Evan likes it though. He's been playing on PC for what, a year now.
Played on
a
Switch.
bit.
It's good.
Yeah, so it's Evan had a lot of experience with that one. What's another Discord question, Evan? Might as well go through
Wanna go with
some
that one?
now. Yeah, we'll go through another one.
When do you think we will see the game The Last Night? You guys familiar with that one?
Transformers: The Last Night, the movie.
No.
No.
It's a sort of blend between 3D and pixel art. I can pull the trailer up for you guys to check out, I guess. It was announced at E3 2017, I believe. I guess it's one of those.
Night.
I guess it's one of those like vanishing games. Here, John. Let me send you that link.
Done by Odd Tales and Raw Fury.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I remember this game. I remember
It's
this.
sort of like a cyberpunk.
Yes, I remember. I remember
Yeah.
seeing this game and I thought it looked awesome. This was one they showed on Microsoft stage.
Yeah.
What was the name of the game?
Yes, they did. I remember this. It was part of their like indie sizzle reel thing.
I don't know if you
Last
want to
night.
screen cap the trailer or something so they can
Well,
see
Is
what
the
was
one
the
that
name
had
of
like
it?
that
the
punk-
Last Night.
Is that
Like,
the
It-
2D one that looked like Blade Runner?
It's
Yes.
not 2D necessarily. The characters look like it, but the world itself is 3D.
I don't know. It's apparently an Xbox One and Windows game, and it's sometimes it still just says 2018. But it's supposed to be a platforming single player style game that has this. Oh, here we go. Okay. So the guy that's behind it, Tim Soray,
Mhm.
has some issues online apparently.
Yeah, well, that's what I remember most. That was really
Oh,
interesting. Is,
man.
remember, they brought him out day one of E3 last year and showed his trailer, and everybody was losing their minds because it was so cool and so artistic. And the people went through his tweets and
Yep.
questionable stuff, and they actually brought him out on stage the next day to apologize for it publicly. But
yeah.
I figured we'd still get the game. I figured it'd just pop up at some point.
Wow, I wonder if that did any damage to it at all. I wonder if that's like they were like, let's hold off a little bit on this and just let it kind of get out of people's minds.
It'd be weird if, and yeah, that's why Microsoft stopped advertising it. They were like, we're gonna just put this on the back burner and let that sizzle a little bit.
I mean, I still think it's come out 2018. It could probably be like a holiday game, to be honest. And it's a smaller indie style game. So that's one that they could just drop, like they announce it, then a month later comes out. I would say I'll give it an October release. That's what I'll give it. They didn't even mention it at E3 this past E3, did they?
No.
Wow. Weird. Yeah, I'll give it an October release date. That'd be weird for that to fall to 2019. Yeah. I'm gonna go with that, Evan. I'm going with October on that one.
Sounds good.
Cool. How many other Discord questions we have, Evan?
We technically have 3. One of them's kind of bound into another guy's, though. It's both about the eShop setup for Nintendo. So,
Okay.
if you want to do that one.
Yeah, sure. Why don't you give us that one?
What do you guys think about Nintendo wanting to release 20 to 30 indie games on Switch a week? And what does this mean for the upcoming eShop redesign? And that's partially connected to what are your guys' opinions on the indie games that are released on the Switch? Does it make their market healthy?
So this is actually a discussion topic that I had set up for us, a little different from our normal topics because there's really no, I guess there's no real right or wrong answer. It's kind of an opinion-based thing right now. But I know Sean has talked about it in a video. I know OJ's talked about it. I've talked about it here and there, but it comes down to the eShop, and they were just asking about 20 to 30 games releasing every week, right, Evan?
Yep.
And not every one of those obviously is going to be high quality or even mid quality. There's a lot of games that are going to start showing up that are not going to be great. And the eShop doesn't have a rating system or anything yet. And I think the issue that people are concerned about or worried about, Sean, you were, I think, talking about this right in your video, where things will get buried. It'll be tough to navigate. Why don't you guys kind of go around and talk about what you think about the eShop in its current form, maybe a redesign if you think it needs one, what would you'd add to it, and then I guess what would happen if they just let it kind of go? if there's any concerns you have, maybe you don't have any concerns. It's either way.
I mean, if they do that, it'll end up like Steam, where there's 100 freaking games a day. and games don't sell for shit because people don't know what's good and what's not good. I mean, I guess it'll help YouTubers who talk about Switch indie games like these are the ones to buy or something, but that's way too much of an oversaturation. I feel 20 to 30. I think like 20 to 30 is just way too much of an oversaturation.
By the way, 7,672 games were released on Steam in 2017.
God dang. Well, so my thing on this is that I've done some research, and I think that there's probably between 15 and 20 games released a week on PlayStation 4, and they do get drowned out. There's definitely a problem of I review like 60 games a year on average. I play a lot of different games. Finding indie games to review is so difficult unless I basically go to a convention and the developer physically puts it in my hand. That's the only way I can find stuff now, because I think the curation on PS4 is smart, how they basically have like a top banner on the store of like, check out this cool new game. And they put a lot of indies up there, but who knows how they're picking those? Are those ones that are partially funded by Sony? My worry is that like good games are just going to start getting drowned for no good reason.
I don't think there's any type of real solution for this. Like you can redesign things, great if you redesign things, but that's not going to stop a lot of people from just putting out games. Obviously, Sony, Microsoft, everybody wants as many games as possible because of royalties. And Nintendo definitely wants that because they don't get the same royalties that Microsoft and Sony get with third-party games. They don't get that cut like with a lot of the bigger Western games. So yeah, Nintendo's going to be like, yeah, let's get what we can. From what I do know, though, there are some developers that get denied. What's that guy that makes like block? I know, Sean, maybe you dealt with him before. Maybe there were some issues. I don't want to bring up anything bad, but RCMA, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like he still doesn't have a Switch development, or he's not allowed to publish on Switch yet. So
it's a good thing.
So I don't want no smoke. But I'm just saying, like, I think that I'm not sure if there's any type of situation to where they can do like to make it better. Maybe like a rating system, redesign it to where it's a little bit cleaner. I know they have like they have like top sellers and they have like recommended, right? Or like a featured type of section right now. So maybe if they can expand upon that, but Nintendo's not going to turn it down. Like if they get 3,000 sales or whatever, that's still royalties coming in. And if they can, as long as they have the bandwidth to keep the games on there, they're gonna do it because Steam makes a ton of money. I mean, people can talk about Steam all they want to, but Gabe Newell's worth $4.4 billion. So there you go. So they're gonna keep doing it. They're gonna keep doing it. So I don't know what the solution is, like the foolproof solution to make it not like Steam, because it's kind of heading towards that path. And you got to just be savvy as a consumer, I think, going forward.
Okay. Yeah. I think it'd be cool if they tweak the eShop. So I don't think there's an issue with them letting that many games on there, as long as you can navigate the eShop well and easily. But I think if they just changed it up with like things like a rating system, written reviews within reason. I know people troll on Steam a lot, but written reviews would be cool. And that's all they can really do at that point. And change up where I guess everything is on the eShop to where there's tabs. Maybe there's like an indie corner, and then there's like a big retail release corner and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like right now, like you were saying, Sean, in your video, everything really is kind of like if you go to recent releases, it's just a wall of games, and that wall gets moved down like it's Tetris or something, constantly. Like it's just like 20 games show up and it pushes everything down.
That's the music they need, dude.
Also, why is there's still no music for eShop, is there?
They need that music, the Tetris music. Let's do it.
That's what gets me is that the eShop on the Switch is always just a couple screenshots and a tiny little blurb about what the game is. At least like the PlayStation Store usually has like a video. You can click a button and someone will be, and you can watch anybody streaming it right then. And see
I like that. That's
it.
A cool feature. Yeah,
I feel like things cool. Like they need to do. If you put any of that type of stuff on there, I'm immediately okay with it. Like make it where it's like, oh, like your friend RGT85 right now is playing Death Road to Canada. Are you curious about this? Like, actually, I am. I should be able to tune in and watch him kill zombies and go, oh, I'd like to buy that.
Nintendo and Microsoft getting pretty cozy. Maybe they let Mixer on there.
Yeah, man.
That'd be good, man. Or Twitch, any of them would be fantastic to have on the Switch. That would help out, like Dreamcast dude was saying. I'd actually really like that. But they have to be able to get the ability to do that. We still don't got the ability to take videos more than 30 seconds. So
yeah. There's a lot of stuff they'll probably be working on with. I would think with that media. I think I'm thinking that might be their big like back half a second in the third year. thing where they just start putting like everything. I assume YouTube, Netflix, and all that stuff would go on there.
When we start paying for them online, I would think that would be when the things would come. Maybe more themes. I mean, more the music for the eShop apps. I'm thinking that's the second half, like you said, second half to 20, and then 2019 that's when they're really gonna hit that point home.
I do think in like 4 years, we're going to look at the eShop how it is now. So take a picture of your eShop how it is now, because it's going to look way different in 4 years. like if you were one of the people like me, or probably a lot of people here on this podcast who got the 360 the day it came out and how it finished up, it is obscenely different. That's the first generation where we got consistent updates.
I would even say like even the Xbox One has been a pretty kind of a pretty big change from what it was before to this point.
They completely redid the background programming of the Xbox One. Originally, it had 3 separate operating systems, one for your desktop, one for snapping.
I remember that was so stupid.
And there was a separate OS that you couldn't access that communicated between the other two. And they finally just killed the other two and made it where it played games and had a desktop.
Well, let me tell you how much the 360 changed, because I remember this specifically. The day we got it, we got the 360 within the week that it came out because they were back ordered, even for pre-orders. So GameStop had to call us, and I remember we skipped 5th period and went and picked it up. Don't do that if you're younger. So we went and did that. We got it. We go home. We download demos because I think there was a Perfect Dark demo, if I'm thinking right, or a Cameo demo. So we download the demo. And you cannot, when you're downloading a demo on the 360, when it first came out, the Blade system, you cannot navigate away from the download bar or the download stops. So that's how much, think about how much that's changed now.
PS3 did that for a short time too at the very start. I remember getting Final Fantasy IX digitally and having to leave my thing up, and my internet was so slow, it took 14 hours to install that tiny game.
3DS too. You guys remember 3DS little jewels drop? Jewels drop. Yeah, that was stupid. I hated that.
I do. The Blade, I feel like the Blade system was faster though. I don't know, that's me. I feel like just remembering, I'm like, man, that thing actually moved around really quick.
The main thing I liked about the Blade system was that you could actually set up you could set it up where it'd be playing music. You could basically put music on your Xbox 360, press play, it would start playing that song, and it would actually automatically pause during cutscenes. So if you're playing Dead Rising, you'd be running around playing your custom music.
I remember that.
Actual plots happening, it would pause it. It was like, that's pretty awesome.
I did that in Ninja Gaiden 2. I did that.
And I did that in Castlevania Lords of Shadow because I hated the new music for that game. So I replaced it with all of the old school Castlevania music. And for some reason, I think it made the game better. I love the game. I know a lot of people, other people did it, but to me it made the game better because you could play that classic Castlevania tunes while you're playing,
Cool. Okay, so let me read out 2 of the super chats here before we move on to the next topic. Will McConnell was asking, saying, thinking about getting Monster Hunter on Switch, is it worth getting? That should be Generations Ultimate or Double Cross. What do you guys do? I see. Here's the thing about Monster Hunter. Every time a Monster Hunter comes out, I'm like, I'm going to get into this, and I never do. World, I played like 5 or 10 hours, and I was like,
I can talk about this just a bit. I think that from what I understand, because I have some pretty serious hardcore Monster Hunter ninjas in my village, and they all say, like, there's this thing, like Monster Hunter World is for the more casual line. There's way less monsters. They have some new mechanics, but Monster Hunter Double Cross or Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate has the most monsters, has the most mechanics. It's really in depth. So if you want that type of experience, like one of the best Monster Hunter experiences, then you should pick it up. Like if you want that. But maybe if you're not that much into it, maybe World's a good bet for you. But
here's what I think we're going to do. I think most of us here on this podcast are going to get it, and we're going to try to all get into it at the same time.
Yeah, I've tried so hard. I can't get into it.
Well, I'm excited for it. I'm not sure that month we're going into September. There's so much big stuff like Spider-Man we're warming up to. So August has so much stuff leading up to it. We're getting Yakuza Kiwami 2. We're getting Shenmue HD collection. So while I'm interested in this new Monster Hunter, I honestly don't know if I'm going to get it. I'm still up in the air.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, I'll get it too, just because I do this every time. I get every Monster Hunter. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And then but this time I think I can actually, I'll have Sean. I can play with Sean.
Yeah, I think Wood's going to get it too.
Okay, cool. So we'll get him in too. And then Evan, of course.
Hold on. I got to talk about this. But why didn't you get into Monster Hunter World? Because the graphics are amazing on there. It has damage numbers popping out. Like everyone, what happened there?
It got boring.
Boo. Oh, sorry. I mean,
how do you know this one will get boring?
To be honest, the controls weren't very good.
They're super good. Oh my god.
No, they just weren't very tight. I don't know. I would like dodge around and everything, and it just
you choose a different weapon. Every weapon class behaves so differently. So if you didn't like using great swords instead, switch to something else.
Do they have those twin dagger thingies?
Yeah, I love
maybe
them.
you should try that class.
Yeah, maybe I might check that out. We'll see. I don't know. I still have it on the PS4 because it was a review copy, and I said I didn't like it. So that was the last. Actually, that was the last game Capcom sent me.
Well,
It's all coming together now.
the pieces slide into place.
It's all coming together. Actually, that might have been around the time I started calling Capcom obscenely cheap, though, too. So,
It's like when I found out that I was lactose. It all came together, man. It all came together my whole life. I found out when I was 21 years old when I was playing football at Fresno State. So that's when I found out. I was like, oh, that's why.
At this point, if they send me a game, they can send me a game to prove me wrong. But until then, I don't think Capcom doesn't like me.
The gauntlet's down, Capcom. Prove yourself. Send it, Mega Man.
I'm going to call them cheap again on Tuesday. They know I'm going to. Because I'm going to buy Mega Man X Legacy Collection. I'm going to get home, and there's going to be a code for the second one in it. And I'm going to take out the code, and be like, well, Capcom's cheap still. I'm going to put it on Twitter, too. Watch. And then it'll get 400 likes. And Capcom will just, shake their fist.
Spawn wave,
I'm telling you, man. I know that goes on at their Capcom headquarters.
It's like the dude from Inspector Gadget,
Dr.
Claw.
Oh man, and then it's getting that Zelda crossover. I'm sure a lot of people probably have seen that by now, where you get the what is it, Champions tunic?
Yeah, Breath of the Wild stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? They had. It makes sense. Add something to make people interested in it more. Just something extra because it's essentially an upscaled, better running 3DS game. So.
And that's why I kind of want to buy it. It's one of those things where I'm not sure I'll even play it for the first month it's out, but it's like I kind of just want to get it the way I can. I want to play Monster Hunter on the Switch. I want to see how that looks.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm sure I'll get it. I'll play 5 hours, then I'll probably move on.
Did any of you guys download real quick? Did you guys download the demo? Because there's a Japanese demo. I played that.
I did a video. Okay. I attempted to play it, and I got as far as I could trying to read Japanese. Which was
okay.
No, it was. It was what it was. I was more interested in the visuals of it. Really, to be honest, I downloaded it because it was a 3DS version that was moved over. So I'm sure if you played Monster Hunter, from what I've seen with people are talking hundreds of hours for this thing. So I assume it's worth the money just because of that, just amount of time and it has multiplayer. So
and it has the most monsters in Monster Hunter history. There's like 93 monsters in there.
There you go. There you go. I heard World didn't have as many as a lot.
World has like 20 something.
Yeah, I haven't really been into any of that stuff, so I couldn't tell you. But people online were like, "Yeah, World has like not even a third of what Double Cross has." So apparently, this is for the hardcore Monster Hunter fans. Is what I'm always told. So there you go. I'm sure I'll get into the that version of it, not the one that's designed for everyone. I'll get into the one that's of course designed for the hardcore Monster. Yeah, that'll work out. Gabe asked us, I guess, what's your converse about Kingdom Hearts 3? I guess what are our thoughts? Are we getting it? Here's the thing. I don't really know the story that well. I've gone online to look it up, but I haven't experienced it as much since 2005. That was the last time I really played a Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 2. I'll get it. I'm going to get it.
I'll buy it. Just because I'm going to be confused as hell. I don't care. I'm just going to go into it confused. I don't care. I'm doing it.
Okay, sorry, Jordan.
No, I was going to say, I don't think there's anyone out there that can coherently and structurally explain me the story with making me understand it. Because
HMK can, but
I've talked to HMK and I still don't understand it. He gets so passionate about it, but he goes from all right, here's your A to Z story, but along the way it's all right, so we go to A, B, C, back to A, then we're gonna jump to C, D, F, G, and then all.
Do you know who you want to watch? Do you know who you want to watch that does it as best they can with gameplay is Ant Dude? I would go watch his video on it.
Oh, I should just hit him up, dude. He never told me he knew all the
Dude, he has an entire series of Kingdom Hearts, and he goes through every game. I watched all of them when I'm editing, and it was as well explained as you possibly could for that series. And the whole time he's showing you the game while he's going over it, narrating it, and everything. And he gets them done in 20 minutes.
I don't understand. Those people who make those games weirdos, man.
I beat all of them basically back to back in February, and I still don't get it. I'm especially because once they started introducing basically time travel and literal clones from other timelines and people splitting into separate people. I was like, I thought I was going to get a nosebleed.
This isn't Chrono Trigger. This is not the time travel that I
exactly
like.
right.
Yeah, that's such a weird. Like, I don't like their focus when they like. What are they thinking about when they make the story for these games? But whatever, whatever.
So what I would say for people who have never played Kingdom Hearts before and they're not sure, look up the story on 1 because the first one has not aged well at all. It's just not a very good experience now as it was back on the PS2 when it first came out. The second one is a lot better. I would actually play the second one, but I would look up the story on the first one, play the second one, and then go back and watch the story on the second one because you won't understand what's going on at all anyway.
I think you need to know the other games are important too, like the Game Boy Advance games.
I'm telling you, go to Ant Dude, man. He did all of those too. He's got those covered.
Because Dream Drop Distance, in my opinion, hasn't aged very well either.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well,
maybe I played on the 3DS, but did you play it on the PS4?
Yeah, I played them all on PS4, and I heard they changed the camera controls, but I don't think they changed anything else. And I actually thought they all played very, very smoothly. They just don't make any damn sense.
So I think most of us are going to buy it, if anything, for the collector's value and just playing through it because the gameplay looks fun. I'm okay with that.
Gameplay looks great.
Callaway 0203 just says more Sean with an exclamation point.
Well, he's gone. So
yeah, while he's currently missing, we'll bring him back.
That's the reason I read it out now. I was waiting for him to leave.
Is he hitting something? What is
sounds like he's heating up a hot pocket or something.
Had to hunt down some more Dr. Pepper.
Oh man. Okay. Spider-Man. Did you guys see the system in the trailer?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want it, but I don't want to spend $400 on it. But I want it.
I may have pre-ordered it.
You pre-ordered.
So you pre-ordered, yeah.
Yeah.
Like red consoles.
Did that. So yeah, and it's glossy too. Greg Miller took a close-up picture at San Diego Comic-Con, and it is like this nice gloss to it, which is going to get scratched up. But it looks really nice, and I figure if I get that, then I can give this one to Evan, and he can use it for reviewing and stuff. But he can take the abused one that's been taken apart and probed with thermocouplers and everything. That one's yours, Evan. So yeah, I was looking at it for that, and it comes with a physical copy of the game, so it's not a digital code, which is great. Sony's actually does that a lot.
God of War, same thing.
Is that?
Is Hot Pockets done? Yes.
No, not a Hot Pocket. I'll show you. Hold on. Oops,
okay, all right. Let's take guesses. Let's take pulls. Not a hot pocket.
So it's $400
dollar burrito.
It's $400. It comes with the game physically. It comes with what I can tell to be the DLC. It's digital content.
All the costumes.
Then the controller. I actually got blue light on the front. Has a nice accent to it.
I don't like the white. I thought the white sticks might get dirty.
You're thinking. I was looking at the controller. I didn't get it at first, but when they put it next to the system, I was like, okay, that's fine. But my controller is never sitting on top of my system, so it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. The controller by itself doesn't really work. But like when it's next to the system as like they're setting it up to show it off, it makes sense.
I'll just use my normal red controller.
Yeah.
I thought that they should have made the like blue. I thought that would have been the color to make.
There should have been. I do think there should have been more blue in it. It's red and white, and there's just not a lot of blue. They have the blue light on the front, but
maybe they don't want it to look too much like an American flag, as it'll put off international audiences. Who knows?
But it has a big old Spider-Man logo on there, though.
That's about as American as it gets. Yeah. I'm so hyped for that game.
Even though 2 of the 3 Spider-Men that we've had in the films have all been British.
Actually, Max, did you watch the trailer, Max? The story trailer they put out?
Yes, I did.
Did you notice? I haven't been able to confirm this yet. I sent an email to them. I'm sure they'll get back to me. Did you notice that there was a part in the trailer that looked like you were going to be taking control of the girl, and it was almost like a stealth mission?
Yes, which that doesn't surprise me because I think I talked about this leak I got a couple, I guess it was about a month ago. I talked it on the Spawncast. Somebody told me that part of the game you're going to be playing as Spider-Man, and part of the game you're going to be running around as Peter Parker doing investigation stuff. So once I heard that, I'm not at all surprised to see Mary Jane running around, or maybe it's Gwen Stacy. But if it's Gwen Stacy, we know what happens to her. But when I saw it, because they showed that shot of her looking through the terrarium of spiders, they might try and do a Spider-Gwen. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. And, in the alternate universe, Gwen Stacy got bit instead of Peter Parker. So she became Spider-Woman and he is just a normal person. So maybe they'll tinker with stuff like that and make them both spider people at some point, which I would be totally on board with.
I was concerned about the stealth aspect because I had these flashbacks to that. Remember that Incredible Hulk game way back in the day where you had Bruce Banner missions and the stealth missions were terrible as Bruce Banner? I started having these flashbacks to where you have these awesome missions and stuff where you're playing as Spider-Man, you're flying through the New York City and everything, and it's really cool. And then it fades out to the next mission, and it's just slow, boring stealth mission. I have this concern about that.
A super deep cut here, but you ever hear of the Dreamcast game MDK2?
Yes, I liked MDK2, but I think I also played it on the PS2.
Yeah, and I remember the whole thing with that is one mission, it's a first-person shooter puzzler game. The next mission is actually you trying to be a defenseless scientist trying to do experiments, and the next one you're like a dog with 6 arms and 6 guns. It's like, this is too weird. It's a content whiplash.
I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that, but I do like the plot that they've set up where everyone's against Spider-Man's like the enemy of like the entire town and everything or city and
Mr. Negative. They never do. Mr. Negative is never in any of the stuff, and he's such a great villain. So I love that they're making like Mr. Negative at his maximum comic power.
I want to ask a question. Do you guys know the PS4 Pro, it's going to be 30 no matter what, right? This
is 30 frames. Yeah. That's 30 frames.
Which is okay, whatever. But there's no performance mode like God of War.
They haven't said anything about it. It looks like it might just be a 30 with 4K checkerboard. From what I've heard and seen, nothing about a performance though. But that might be something we don't really find out about unless somebody asks them specifically or until reviewers get the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I get what you're saying. You would like to see that a 1080-60 mode.
Yeah, that would have been cool. God of War doesn't, I guess, consistently run at 60.
God of War is a weird one because of that. Yeah,
it's kind of weird because it's not locked at 60, but you can clearly feel that the frames are faster.
But it's kind of all over the place sometimes. I'm playing in that, and I'm like, it's really good sometimes. Then you turn around and there's a big enemy behind you, and you definitely feel it drop a bit there.
Which I don't. You know what? Spider-Man is a completely different style of game. Obviously, it's more of an Arkham. When it comes to the combat. So I don't have a problem with that. I just didn't know if there was anything because I'm looking forward to playing on my PS4 Pro. So
the good news is in 3 years we'll be playing it on the PS5 probably at 60. So there you go.
They just need to make a Spider-Man Noir game next. That's what I want the most. Is the gritty Spider-Man from the 20s.
Didn't they do that with one of them and it wasn't very good?
Shattered Dimensions.
Yeah, Shattered Dimensions. But Shattered Dimensions is not a great game. But I thought the Spider-Man Noir missions were cool anyways because it's a Spider-Man who walks around with a gun shooting people. You don't see that very often.
I think they got the perfect studio, Insomniac, to do this, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an outstanding game. So I'm at least really excited for it, and I hope it doesn't disappoint with these really weird. I'm just concerned about these really slow stealth missions that just could.
It might just disappoint, but the whole game might be so good that it won't matter. For example, Resident Evil 4 wasn't just like Ashley, where you have to do some stuff with her, and it was just
I mean, if it's a couple of them and then you're done, and then you get to this point of almost like end game where you can basically do whatever you want in the city after you beat the main game. That's the part of the game I'm looking forward to that I hope exists, is that there is an end game where you've beaten the main story, you have all the unlocks, and then you can basically go around the city and do post game stuff. That would be what I hope exists.
Yeah, optional missions for more intel on your regular missions type stuff would be fine.
If I had to guess, as somebody who's beaten every Insomniac game, I'm betting it's going to be a bunch of little one-offs. There's going to be 3 main missions, and then you do one little tiny sneaking mission as Miles Morales sneaking at a school to try and get a weapon to Peter Parker, and then we're going to do another sneaking mission where it's in another 3 missions. Then we do another one was Gwen Stacy.
Be interesting is if they do some kind of tease for Venom in the next one.
That's what I was just about to say. That. Venom's my favorite comic here ever. Venom's my favorite, and I was just about to ask, do you think we're gonna be able to play as Venom, some type of Venom mission mode, or
I bet she's an unlockable suit, right? That's an unlockable suit, right?
They showed they're putting so many of the suits. They're doing the future Spider-Man suit and everything, so I bet they're gonna probably put in there. And The same because you were talking about Arkham. You know, each of the Arkham games actually ends with a giant hint as to what the whole next game was going to be. Like there was a secret room in Arkham Asylum that showed a map for Arkham City. In Arkham City, there was a boat that actually showed the gas mask that Scarecrow uses. I 1,000,000%, I would literally bet money on people in chat the fact that we're going to see, like, at the very end, there's going to be an optional side mission that shows, like, the symbiote, like, shell.
Like in they could show that, or they could show it, like, kind of like in, like where they kind of have it like a container, sort of.
Yeah.
And transporting it somewhere or something. That would be really cool to see that.
Yeah, man, I'm so ready. I haven't played a superhero game like this in a while, so I'm ready, man.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of the last one I played that was I might have just been Arkham. Might have been Arkham. Like I'm trying to think of one that really had me hyped. When Rocksteady picked up Batman and they showed that trailer, I was like, "Yep,
Batman Arkham City."
Where's Square Enix's Avengers game?
No one knows.
They just started. I read something that they're apparently that's going to be their like 90% of their focus next E3 is to actually bust out whatever that is, the Avengers project. But
Sean, are you looking at Spider-Man at all, man?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I like the Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Spider-Man game, so I'm looking forward to it.
Spider-Man 2 is great. I like Spider-Man.
That's pretty good. I know people don't love Ultimate Spider-Man, but that's my favorite one.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
I know a lot of people like 2. I like 2 a lot. 2 is cool.
I do like 2. I do.
For the hardware it was on at the time and it came out, it was just really neat.
I played on the GameCube and I was just like blown away by how good 2 was.
I think I played it on the Xbox.
I did Xbox as well, yeah.
Yeah, but it was great either way. It was just an outstanding game. Let's get through some of these topics since we're running a bit out of time here. Arkane Studios, OJ, I know you talked about this in one of your videos as well. Arkane Studios looking for a person, or I guess they're trying to build a team with Switch SDK experience.
Yeah, it was interesting because when you look into what they've made, Dishonored 2, and Prey, that's what they're most known for. But even dating all the way back 10 years ago, Call of Duty World at War. They've made some pretty cool stuff for BioShock Infinite. They also made that. So these guys are very, very skilled. They're very skilled. They know how to make great games because they've made some awesome ones. So it'll be interesting if we see, I would like to get you guys' opinion because I talked about it. Like, what do you think they would do? Like, would you think it would be Dishonored or Dishonored 2 or Prey? What would be the most likely?
Feel like from sales, if they can get it to work, they would want Prey on there.
Do you think?
Prey just didn't sell that well.
It bombed, but that's why I would think it would not be ported because it bombed so bad. Like at least Dishonored has such a fan base. If you made a Dishonored collection of 1, 2, and Death to the Outsider and put that on a Switch cartridge for $60, people will be lining up.
Oh man,
yeah, Dishonored is a good series. Dishonored
I really
2.
like it.
Really? Oh, wow.
I remember GameStop was doing a like buy 2 get 1 on retro games, and I ordered Resident Evil 2 on the GameCube, and they sent me Dishonored 2 on the PS4 instead, and I was like, how the fuck? But I ended up playing it for like a couple hours. I don't know. I never got into it. Like,
it's some of the best modern stealth games, but the whole thing about it is that it's definitely very unforgiving. Like every time you make a mistake and kill somebody, the game gets perpetually harder because of the chaos system. So I heard a lot of people who weren't into stealth games definitely get like, oh, it just becomes unplayable at a certain point.
Yeah.
I played and beat it on PC. Thought it was okay, but never got into it enough to buy the second one.
There's elements to it. If you've ever seen the speed kill runs where you'll see someone try to do the most ridiculous tricks to kill everyone in a single map.
Yeah, where they bind everybody's souls, literally like do a chain soul attack.
There was a guy with an arrow in the straight up, and then he would like plan a couple traps while the arrow was going up, and then he would teleport over to a guy, the arrow would hit him in the head, and then he would start chucking people at traps. It was crazy.
I love the last DLC had all these cool things. You're playing as Billy. She's like an assassin who's all like, she's like half machine because of all this stuff. She has all this like dark magic machinery, and she has a thing that nobody else has, which is where she can steal people's faces. You can like kill somebody, literally make yourself look like them and wear their bloody face around, and everybody sees you like, oh, how's it going there, Dan? Like, hello. So it's so cool. So cool.
So all right, so this is kind of interesting. Dishonored and Dishonored 2 run on 2 different engines. If they want to do this. So Dishonored 1 runs on Unreal Engine 3. And then Dishonored 2 runs on the Void engine, which is based on id Tech 5, and id Tech 5 ran games like Rage, the first Evil Within, basically games that were a bit older now, I guess, Wolfenstein: The New Order, but Evil Within 2 also used a similar engine from id Tech 5 that was named the STEM engine. So if they're also looking at doing something like an Evil Within 2, which is, I feel like something we've heard here and there, right, where they wanted to get that moved over.
Shinji Mikami was stated that he said he'd love to work on Switch. So he basically just said that I'd like to do something for it. So
they both come from the id Tech 5 engine. I guess it's possible that they could be working on Evil Within 2 and Dishonored 2 just because of that. But I do think you might be right about Dishonored being the one, just because it would probably get the most sales. But I feel like they're very disappointed in Prey right now. I feel like.
Well, and also an interesting thing is that they've been giving away copies of Dishonored 1 everywhere. Like if you pre-order, if you buy any bundle now of Bethesda on PS4, they give you a copy of Dishonored 1 Definitive Edition. Like it's something they're giving out. They're clearly hoping that series will somehow just keep getting trickle sales. So I personally would think they're definitely going to try and port.
Hey man, Dishonored 2 was like $8 on Black Friday last year. So I got it on the Xbox for my X and everything, which it looks awesome on there. But I still like Dishonored 2. That was a good game, I think. Dishonored 1 was all right. I think 2 was better.
Yeah, dramatically.
Is there a third-person mode in that game?
No, because
it's all first person.
No, but yeah, and also certain forms let you see through walls and stuff. Some of their dark magic lets you like hear people's heartbeats and see where they're walking. So it's sort of like third-person view.
Bethesda's definitely working on something though. For Switch, I will say that they're working on something. I don't know what, but they're working on something. They apparently have a team for the Switch. There you go. But Arkane working on something along the lines of that would be pretty cool, like a Dishonored. I'd be on board for that. Digimon. Does anyone play Digimon at all?
I mean, I watched it back in the day.
No, but I'm excited. I'm interested in this new one. It's like a Fire Emblem type. It has like 2D, like hand-drawn characters, like 3D backgrounds, and it looks really clean.
Am I the only one that played like the Digimon Cyber Sleuth game?
I played Cyber Sleuth. I played
that on my Vita, I believe. Yeah, I played on my Vita. Yeah, I played that on my Vita. It was like it was a pretty old school style RPG from what I remember. I didn't like it that much. But this one sounds a little different because there is there's a change to story, as we saw, OJ, where they have decisions you essentially make. So that'll be interesting. And you're right, it's supposed to be like a strategy style game.
Yeah,
like a tactics based game.
Yeah, tactics based, and there's like some investigation, like you're in like rooms and like you have to find certain things like to survive. I mean, it's called Digimon Survive, so there's like scavenging and stuff like that. A little bit of that, a little bit of like Mass Effect type of like different options that you can pick that can affect the story. So replay value there. So it seems like the most ambitious Digimon game in a while.
It's also worth mentioning that they appear to have finally moved on from the Vita, as it's going to the PS4 and the Switch instead of the PS4 and the Vita now.
Thank God.
Which is a big difference from the portable Vita, obviously the portable Switch.
Although I do think it'll come to PC and Xbox One here in America.
Okay. I mean, they haven't released that ever on Xbox, I don't think yet, right? The Cyber Sleuth or anything like. I think it's always been PlayStation, pretty much.
Yeah, it's always been. But Bandai Namco's been doing this thing to where games PS4, Switch only, like My Hero, a couple other games that they have, and then when it comes to America, it comes to Xbox, PC, PS4, and Switch. So I'm thinking maybe they do that too.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, get it on everything you can for those sales. Why not?
Yeah.
Even if you sell a few on the Xbox, still better than nothing. So I don't think the porting's as bad anymore as it used to be back in the day with PS3 and 360.
Oh yeah, nothing like that.
So it's it'll be good. Wishbone, I see you there. We'll read about that one because that's about Left 4 Dead 3, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, Digimon looks good. We need more information on it. 2019 at some point. They did release some of their first screenshots, I believe. Those just came out, so I'll be taking a look at those and see how it looks and everything. But I will tell you, Cyber Sleuth wasn't like obscene visually or anything. Like the visuals weren't like amazing or anything. But that might be because it was also on the Vita. They had to it had to work on the Vita and the PS4. So
really, it was a really nice looking Vita game on PS4. Basically,
I mean, I will say it looked pretty good on the Vita, but it was the Vita,
I played the PS4 version, and it looks like the Vita version, just smooth, just nice and silky smooth, and everything. So,
Yes. Evan, Discord question.
We just have one left, really, other than the one that was answered last week. I just bought a PS4 for $146.98 with the Target glitch. Do you have any games that you would recommend?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
OJ,
baby.
what was this Target glitch that I missed?
Yo, let me break this
jealous.
down for you guys real quick. All you East Coast sleeping people over here. So in the West Coast, it was about 12 o'clock where Target had this crazy glitch to where you could stack 15% off. Okay, you East Coast people were asleep. Okay, a lot of you guys were asleep, so you guys missed out on this. So you could essentially you text this number or you text these codes to a number, and you get back a 15% coupon. And they also had a coupon that was like $50. If you spend more than $50, you get $20 off. So you could just stack everything. So and it just got you like 70 to 80% off of like whatever you wanted. You know, so people were just getting crazy $150 switches, 100 depending on tax where you live. Like I got a 58-inch Samsung TV, which is $700. I got an Xbox One X, and I got a dock for $570. So,
Wow,
Man,
Jesus.
I'm so jealous. I'm actually legit mad at myself. I woke up, and about 10 minutes after I woke up, I started. If people were still saying it worked, like 10 minutes before it, I started texting, and I started getting this text back where it said, like, we've actually just turned off the coupon text service. I was like, God damn it!
yeah, it was insane. Like, yeah. So essentially, I got an Xbox One. I bought an Xbox One X, and I got a free dock and a free TV, a really nice Samsung TV. So yeah, that's basically what happened there. So people were just getting crazy deals, and I got my TV. Some people got canceled though. Not everybody got the deals. Some people were getting canceled. Mine didn't. I went and picked up my dock in store, my Switch dock. Got that for That was $28 for the Nintendo X Switch dock.
Man.
And then a $700 Samsung TV was $220.
See, I'm going TV shopping in like a few weeks now, the first week of August, so I get ready for football season. That would have actually been
you could have got the sweetest like $1,000-something.
Yeah, I'm looking at a Samsung MU8000 right now, and that would have been sweet to have that deal for that.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that everybody didn't get a chance, but I was calling and I was trying to let people know about it.
Take advantage of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I called my brother. I was like, look, you got it. Like, he was like, I'm sleeping. I'm like, shut up. Wake up. So he went and got a call. Like, I called some of my other people that I know. I went on Twitter. I was trying to let people know, retweeting. I was trying to let everyone know that I could about the deal.
My buddy Fanta, who is the cheapest mofo on the planet, made like 4 separate Target.com accounts so it could start putting stuff in different baskets. The way it could not only stack the deals as much as possible, but also so that if they canceled some of his pre-orders, they wouldn't cancel all of his pre-orders, and he ended up getting away like a bandit.
Got my TV playing Octopath on that new TV is just mind-blowing. Get my Xbox One X did not get canceled. It's just back ordered. They're sending it. It'll be here this upcoming week.
Yeah,
it'll be here this week.
Romano, I was looking at the X900F from Sony as well. I'm between the two of them, so we'll see which one I end up with. Yeah. But I'm doing that like the first week of August. Got to get ready for football season.
Oh yeah, football's gonna be great. 49ers are great this year.
So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get the NFL Sunday tickets so I can watch everybody. Yep, that's gonna be it right there, man. I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
Garoppolo, baby. Let's go,
man. Yeah. So okay. We're supposed to be helping someone shop though, Evan. What? Can you read out their question and their name again for us?
Yeah. It's Mon Kecker.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, but he just wants to know PS4 games. What's good?
There's a lot of stuff that's great on that system. But if you just bought into it, man.
Horizon Zero Dawn is $20 for the complete edition.
You should have honestly. You should
really $20 right now.
$20.
They just did a giant price drop. They just did a special edition thing of PlayStation 4 Classics just kicked off. So you can get Yakuza 0 for $20, Bloodborne for $20. You can get I still say Detroit Become Human. People are actually really adopting. That one's going to be $60, but people are jumping on that game late and still loving it. You got to get Dark Souls.
I'm going to give you 2 to get right away. You got to get God of War. You should have picked that up with the system. Go get God of War and then pick up Persona 5.
Yes.
Oh yes, Persona 5. My picks would be Horizon Zero Dawn and Persona 5. Those are the two. I think Persona 5 is a must. That is the best PlayStation 4 game in my opinion. It's Persona 5, and then I'd say Horizon Zero Dawn would be the next. And you'll save money. Both of those will be $50-$60 for both
Yeah.
of those.
Well, and now, man, the DLC of Horizon, my girlfriend's playing through it right now. The DLC of that game is actually so well written and has all new style of enemies. It's one of the things of like probably some of the best PS4 DLC there is.
But I do think God of War is probably going to win Game of the Year this year, unless something like Red Dead knocks it off.
Yeah.
God of War is probably going to win.
I think that's probably going to take it in a lot of places. So that's the one I would look into. But they might do. There's always a chance to do a Game of the Year cheaper version next year or something. But that's a game I would play now because it reminded me so much of like a Zelda even. It's just a good game. I'd look into that. But Horizon's awesome too. You can't beat Horizon for $20.
Yeah. And Persona 5 is the slickest Japanese RPG you'll probably ever play.
Oh yeah. if you like a good story, a good JRPG style game, Persona 5, there's a reason that was the first Persona game that really got mainstream attention.
Style. Like that is the main thing with that game is style. It is just so stylish.
The music in that game is killer too.
I saw a quote and it said, every game developer in the world wishes that they could make a UI so smooth people cosplay as it, and it showed a guy holding up the buttons that said attack, dance, special. The guy's just walking around with the buttons. It's like that's how smooth that game is.
The dude who made Persona 5, he must be like the biggest ladies man ever. Whoever made that, he must be able to get anything he wants, man. That dude's smooth. Whoever did it, they're all smooth. So.
Oh, there's a flash sale going on the PlayStation Store right now. I forgot about that.
I just bought it. The only thing that's super great is I just bought the all the Dead Rising games. I got the Dead Rising collection for $17. So I have all those.
My problem with this right now is I'd rather play my Xbox One X than my PS4 for third-party stuff. That's my issue right now, man. Although the Xbox is having a massive sale right now.
The PlayStation 4 sale is not great right now. They just had that crazy one last week, and you know they have a small sale every week. This one is, but it's got some stuff.
You're looking into getting an Xbox One X, I think, right, Max? That's the idea.
Yeah, if I can find one, because I have a VCR.
Oh gosh, you still have that first one.
Yeah, you can see I keep my box in the background of my. I have the Halo Master Chief Collection Xbox One. Funny enough, these cubes, these are 1x1. These do not fit in Xbox One. These things that thing is so big, I can't even put it in a display. So it's at that point where I'm like, all right, I got to replace this anchor.
Yo, they're trying. They can't. They have Just Cause 3 at $6. They're trying to give that game away.
Yeah,
man. I bet you people still aren't buying that thing.
I just got Horizon Zero down for $20. Good deal.
Oh, nice. You just did that just now.
That was the price I was waiting for the complete edition to be because I didn't have time when it came out. It was that or Zelda in the Switch. So I was like,
are they doing here? I'm gonna look on the sale right now because I'm gonna see if they're selling the DLC for dirt cheap because I need the DLC.
Oh, I feel like they probably would. I would hope so.
All right, Max. So we'll keep an eye out for an Xbox One X for you.
Yeah, seriously. Everybody in the chat, seriously, not joking. If anybody sees a crazy good deal on an Xbox
Dude, you know what, Max, what you need to do is you need to keep an eye on GameStop for whenever they do those deals for trade-in. Because at one point, I think they were doing like $200 in trade-in for an Xbox One towards an Xbox One X.
Xbox One X it's just expensive. So even if you get like $100 or something, you're still gonna pay a good amount for it. I only bought mine because it was $200.
But like I keep seeing GameStop do that. They'll just randomly be like, "Oh, here you go, $200 off of a upgrade from your Xbox One," and then it's like $300, and it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially I might do something like that, and then it'll be at least cheaper, and it'll replace this horrible giant loud VCR.
Oh gosh, yeah, the Xbox One X. It sounds crazy. It's silent. Like it sounds weird because it's obviously super powerful.
Well, and it's so tiny. Did you ever see? I saw a thing where when they first opened up the Xbox One X, and they were like, "Yeah, we built this thing to be dead silent."
What's interesting is it's smaller than my PS4 Pro or my other Xbox One S. Basically everything except for the Switch, obviously. But it's heavier. It's heavier than all of them.
Just sell me your Xbox One S. It's totally cool.
That's my 4K UHD Blu-ray player for upstairs.
Ah,
I have multiple ones. My Xbox One X, that's going into my office. My Xbox One S Blu-ray player out in the living room, baby.
Yeah, I think it even does. I'm pretty sure Microsoft has the NFL app for NFL Sunday Ticket also.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there you go. That's a sweet media box, man.
Yes, Xbox is the best media.
Oh yeah.
box.
Oh yeah.
So smooth.
That's what they wanted. The one thing you don't game on, but you have hooked up.
Dude,
oh man! Boom!
No, I'm joking.
I play Halo in that thing, man. Wait till Master Chief Collection gets that upgrade. Whew, I'm on it.
If you stream and all that, like even like when you do your live streams, you can use your Xbox One S as like to watch the live streams and use it. It's great for that too. Like if you're like live reactions to stuff, like the different things like Nintendo Directs and stuff. So I even use it for that.
Yeah, it works. It works well. It does work well. Maybe it's not the best game system, but compared to the other two, obviously. Yeah. But for it being like an all-in-one box, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'll be curious to see what they do next generation. Speaking of which, before we our last topic is we're gonna talk a bit about the Unreal Engine because there was an interesting tech demo that was shown. Did you guys see this tech demo that they showed where they actually were able to capture like a person's facial expressions and everything, and it looked uncanny how real it looked. And it's a new technology that they'll probably be using going into next generation, although they did say that the PS4 and the Xbox One could technically support it, just not as well because the rendering all the different hair strands and everything would be too difficult. But it looks like it's a new technology or new rendering technique that they're going to use going into the next generation, and it looks crazy. Like if you think Detroit Become Human looks good, it's like the next generation of that essentially. But you'll be able to use it for things like Uncharted and stuff. It's a really, really cool tech demo. And I would look into it if you're curious as to what next generation could look like. But Unreal is developing that, and they're also working to develop like next generation AI essentially as well. And there have been issues or people have been wondering when they move on to that, if one, they'll continue to develop anything really for the PS4 or the Xbox One or even the Switch. And that was something that was curious to me. What do you guys think about that? If they go to this new technique that's so so much more advanced than what systems are now, would they develop just exclusively for the PS5 and the Xbox 2 then?
Yes. Like that's not even, I don't think this is even like a thing. Like there's going to be games just like we're seeing right now that just developers just don't want to put on Switch. Now, Switch can get games that they just want to do. Like if they have like a Switch division like Bethesda and they'll make games, Octopath is proving that you can make a Switch game and make plenty of money, you know, and do stuff. But I don't think it's going to be like to where these super graphics games come over to Switch. And like I said, for me, that's fine. I don't have a problem buying two systems. You know what I'm saying? What works for Switch works for Switch. If it doesn't work for Switch, then it doesn't work for Switch. And that's just how it is. But that's just my opinion on it.
Let me see if I can see, this is the problem, man, with Hangouts. Google, you got to fix this up, my man. Google is, their Hangouts is so bad. All right, so people are asking me to share this. I'm going to do my best. But their Hangout stuff is terrible. Because what you're about to see is supposed to be 60 frames per second, and it's definitely not going to run 60 frames per second.
The hottest 19 frames you've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's because of the way that they run their stuff. Let me see.
Whoa. Infinity.
Yeah. Whoa. So okay.
There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah. Let
me see if I can.
Looking great.
So this is supposed to be the way that it's supposed to be running at 60 frames, but if you go on YouTube, you can look it up. And I could probably drop a link for you guys in the chat. But the idea is they're able to track an actor or actress. They even show a woman as well, and they actually have this jump to being an there we go. So the individual strands of hair there in this one they wouldn't be able to do on the Xbox One or the PS4 is what they were saying, because it would probably run exactly how you're seeing it right now on Google Hangouts.
That's not a real person.
No.
Are you sure?
You're a liar.
I'm telling. This is what's cool is they also made it jump to an alien with the same.
Yeah, I saw that.
They made it jump to an alien as well, where they could do it. So they can do it with human-looking characters, with aliens and everything, which is really, really cool. It's just a really neat technology that they're using. And apparently the time it takes to develop is significantly less because you're actually mocapping a person's face, essentially. So it's pretty cool what they're doing right now.
This seems great, but we still don't even have stuff. Remember like that Samaritan demo or whatever? I'm probably saying the name wrong, but like, remember when that was out there and people were like, oh, look at that. That's going to be how PS4 and Xbox One are. And like, I'm not sure if there's many games that look as good as that. Demo from there. So, I mean, while this looks awesome, I mean, I'm not sure if this is going to be applied to many games outside of like maybe a game like Detroit, you know,
I would see it in Detroit. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I would see it in, is Detroit Become Human. But it also shows you just what kind of stuff they're doing with, I mean, this is still Unreal Engine 4. Like Unreal Engine 4 has changed so much already. And they just keep adding stuff to it. So you were just talking, OJ, about how people in Japan and stuff, or developers there, are even using it.
Oh yeah,
now you see ray tracing, which is essentially essentially real time reflections and shadowing and everything. So they're just doing a lot of stuff right now. With I wish they would just stop with what you call it. Google Hangouts, man, they gotta fix that. It just looks so bad when I share that.
They're not fixing anything, by the way. Google Hangouts has been trashed for like a really long time. Trust me.
Google just doesn't have the money to fix these things. They're such a bottom of the barrel company.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see that, and I'll be curious how that, because that could help with storytelling and obviously other parts of games. So that'd be cool. It's the next generation of graphics essentially, but the AI they were talking about sounded pretty crazy too. So we'll see. We need an actual tech demo of that though. You know, like when they showed us Metal Gear Solid 2 and they showed the enemies like getting together and trying to figure out how they can go about like finding you and stuff. If you remember that tech demo, that was insane, and that actually made it into the game. So
Halo 2 did that. Remember the original Halo 2 trailer showed the group of jackals come together and then walk at you as a group, and people were like, they're talking.
Oh man. So Wishbone, actually Hassam said put $2 and said add block tax. Okay, thank you. Wishbone says Valve is going to be at Gamescom, Left 4 Dead 3 with a question mark.
No.
Does Valve make games anymore? They say they do, but
Right.
They're doing a card game, but like they don't really care.
What's funny is, did you guys? I looked at that document a lot that leaked out that showed all these sales on Steam, and Left 4 Dead 2 had an immense amount of sales. We're talking like I think almost 20 million or something like that in sales.
Well, I remember they also they gave it away free a couple Octobers and a couple of Halloweens. That's how I got it. They gave it away free on Halloween.
But if you look at it, a ton of people, thousands of people, still play that game every day.
I actually have played it not too long ago. It's interesting. We had a leaked document or a guy basically managed to talk his way into Valve, like the actual studio. I guess probably 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago at this point, and he walked around inside there pretending to be on the QA team, and he found all these like monitors, and he took pictures of the monitors, and they were clearly testing a server alpha build of Left 4 Dead 3. And after that, like, which companies do it all the time. Like the whole thing, companies test stuff all the time. I remember there was a immensely playable version of Alan Wake 2 that never showed up. Like they released 20 minutes of gameplay of that game. It's never coming out. So
you're telling me that Snake broke into
I keep telling people, if you walk places and you look like you're supposed to be there with with confidence, no one asks any questions.
He took a ton of cell phone pictures, and it was real funny because he took pictures of him walking up to security guards and just talking them into waving their security key card to open these giant like armored doors that he was clearly not supposed to go through. It's one of those things where it's like, man, that dude must have the most boring face, and just like, oh yeah, I forgot my key card. Like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, whatever. You look boring.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's so funny. See me, I try to go in like a cardboard box, and I'd be like, oh, I'm trying to do I need to do what that guy did. Just walk up and be like, yeah, what's up? I work here.
Oh man, yeah. So I don't know if Left 4 Dead 3 will be there. It's Valve. I've lost faith in Valve doing anything in terms of development. So they say they want to, and I'll wait till they actually prove me wrong. So we'll see. Robert Brown asked, do you guys know about the Polymega, and are you interested in it? I am interested. I do know about the Polymega, but we talked to people didn't we, Sean? We talked to people at the convention, right, about that?
Yes.
Yeah, people aren't sure about that thing. We'll say that. But apparently from what they've seen, it works. There's just a lot of questions around it. So I'm interested in it, but I'm more interested to see if it'll work. Now, Polymega, if you don't know, is a system that's kind of like a clone system, but it's supposed to use real hardware, but then it also emulates. It's weird, but the idea is you can buy attachments.
Hybrid emulation.
Yeah. It's weird how they're describing it. That's why people are interested in it. But the idea is you can attach parts to it, and like, let's say you want to have the ability to play TurboGrafx, you can actually buy an attachment attached to the main unit. All of a sudden, it'll play TurboGrafx games. It's an interesting idea, and I'm going to look into it. I'm going to try to get one, but they didn't have to do crowdsourcing on it because they got funded. So they're not crowdsourcing it like Atari had to do. Atari. They did upgrade my machine to 8 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm okay with that. And I think that's the last super chat we have here before we finish up. From NX Revolution saying, while you're talking about new systems, what SoC do you think is going to go in the next Switch? I don't think the next SoC even exists yet that's going to the next Switch. I think they're building one, and mostly because they won't need the next SoC probably for another 4 years. I think this Switch that we're seeing is on a 5-year cycle. So I don't think we'll see the next actual Switch until like 2022. We will probably get a revision at some point, though.
Okay, I was thinking that. Do you think they're going to do like a new Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, I think they will do it. I don't think it's going to look terribly different, though. That's the thing. It might be. It might be a little bigger, maybe. I don't know if they really need to make it bigger. I think the screen size is fine.
I would say they fill in the black. You know, like they make the screen actually rimless, you know?
Sure. But I think it also comes down to aspect ratio, though. I feel like the current size of the screen works for 720p, but they might have to shift it a bit if they want to do like maybe 1080p on it. I don't know. It'd be interesting. But I think the most they would do is maybe pull from the X2 and just give a little more bandwidth for the developers, because then you would have you wouldn't have those 360p situations with certain games or anything like that, or 540p. You would probably be at 720p most times, and then closer to 1080p when docked a lot. So that's all I think you would see, though. I think they're going to develop, because it's successful enough now. They can fund it. Nvidia isn't really taking a chance on the next Switch. Then it's more of a sure thing for them. So they would put the money in. I mean, that's really why. If you remember when the Wii U came out, OG, you've talked about this too. There was a lot of third-party support for it, and that's because the Wii was successful. So there wasn't a lot for the Switch because the Wii U was not. And now we'd be going in a situation where we assume the Switch is probably going to at least keep up a decent amount of momentum, and we'll go into the next generation with the Switch being successful, which means probably a new SoC and probably third-party support day one. So
I think Nintendo learned a lot from this, in terms of like what they needed to do too. So I mean, still they got room to grow, obviously, but I think they learned a lot in terms of what they needed to do, especially with Japanese developers as well.
I'll be more curious when that system comes out, because that's when Nintendo will be a one SKU only company, a one system only company. They still have the 3DS now, but when that comes out, that's going to be, we assume, I mean, Nintendo's done some crazy stuff, but we assume that will be their only system when it comes out. But I guess you never know with Nintendo. There could be a Switch. I mean, there probably will be a Switch Mini that's geared more towards kids, where it doesn't have detachable Joy-Cons and it's more durable, I guess. There's stuff they can do.
Because a big old plastic screen. It can look like it's made out of Legos. Nerf. I'm buying it.
But that's still Switch though. It's still play Switch games.
Yep.
So
Exactly. Yep.
No, but I think there will be a family of systems around it playing one cartridge. They could technically, I mean, honestly, it sounds weird. They could build just a box for your TV if they wanted to, as long as it plays the Switch cartridges. I really don't care. You can do any of that stuff. I don't care, because it wouldn't affect anyone who already has a system. But I think that's it for all the super chat questions. We're good there. Cool. Let's go around here, guys, before we finish up. Was there anything you guys are looking forward to this week before we finish up tonight? I'm looking forward to the X Legacy Collection. Is there anything coming out though otherwise this week that we should be looking forward to?
Some that's coming out in a couple weeks that's finally got an official release date that I'm sure it came out just the announcement came out so recently we probably didn't get a chance to throw it on the docket, but Death's Gambit finally got a release date. It's coming out August 13th. It's basically like the most true to form 16-bit Dark Souls ever. It's going to be on PlayStation 4 and Steam. They've been working on it for years. It is not co-op or anything. That's the one downside, but it looks gorgeous and cool and hard as hell. The developers just did a big interview with Sony, basically saying like, yeah, you're going to die a lot. So the most interesting thing is now that the game's finalized, they said that they've actually, in the last couple months, they created a new mode where you can basically talk to death at the beginning of the game and say, I would like to not have the option to return. Like apparently like you make a deal with death at the beginning of the game, apparently. So every time you die, you'll get to walk back to your body and fight the boss again, in typical Dark Souls style. You can tell the death you do not want to come back, and you have to beat the entire game in one life. But when you die, it just deletes that save file.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, cool. That sounds interesting. Okay, but that's not for, you said, like a couple weeks.
It's coming in, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm super excited for it. Definitely going to review it.
Cool. Okay, what about you, Sean? Anything looking forward to for the next week?
Well, yeah, I got Mega Man Legacy, Mega Man X Legacy Collection just downloaded. So I'll have a review up on Tuesday at midnight, or I guess Monday. And I don't know. I never know with those embargo dates. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Everything else, just whatever.
Cool. All right. What about you, OJ? Anything to look forward to this week?
Looking forward to getting my Xbox One X and playing some 4K in my living room.
It's a good system. You're gonna like it. It's a good system.
Yeah.
You're gonna be surprised when you take it out of the box how heavy it is. That's good. That actually might shock you. That actually seriously might shock you.
I'm ready to be shocked, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm ready to be shocked. Let's do it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to just more blowing through Octopath. Just really like tomorrow I'm gonna relax, chill. Have a little bit of company, play some Octopath, watch some anime, and do a little bit of work too. So looking forward to that, and just looking forward to getting my Xbox One X stuff. So
nice. Yeah, man. Nice. What about Jordan? What do you got looking forward to this week, man?
A lot of video editing.
Okay, that sounds like a fun game.
Yeah,
that's just default with us though. Like editing, that's just default editing.
It's just so piled on because of the travel, so it's just I don't have the free time to even game, man.
You'll be at the convention in Long Island though, so we'll see you there.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely, that'll be fun.
Cool. And then Evan, what do we got this week, man? What are you looking forward to?
Got some video things to throw together, I guess. I'm gonna try to get a little more Octopath in, and then the finals for Overwatch League is Friday and Saturday, and Philly's going, so I'm super happy about that.
Oh, okay.
Team's making it.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Philly versus London. So that'll be
all
good.
right. So that's going to do it for episode 68. Let me go around here, and everyone can let you know where you can find them, starting with Sean. Sean, where can they find you, man?
Find me at RGT85 on the internet, on the YouTubes. I'll say hi in the chat if you're unfamiliar with me. Tomorrow, we're going to have a video about the upcoming Switch games for August that you need to be paying attention to. I may double dip and do one, have my Saturn video up as well. If not, that'll be Monday, talking about what went wrong with the Sega Saturn, because there was a lot of things that went wrong with it.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, people want to raid CND. We actually saw him at Too Many Games. Cool guy, so we can do that. But let's go through everyone's outro before we do that, guys, and then you guys can go raid CND. What about OJ? Where can they find you, man?
Yeah, they can find me right here on YouTube, just at PlayerEssence, on Twitter as well. John, is it okay if I talk about the giveaway? I can link it.
Yeah,
because I do have Octopath. I'll be having a video on Project Octopath Travel. I'll be having a video 25 hours or 30 hours plus into it. So look forward to that in terms of content. And I have a good giveaway for it too. So if you're interested in checking out my channel, I do RPGs, do all sorts of Nintendo content. I have a giveaway as well, and I'll link that if you guys want to have a chance at winning a digital copy of Octopath Travel.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, man. That sounds good to me. And then we got Jordan. Jordan, thanks for joining us tonight, man. Where can they go find you?
Thanks for having me. You can find me at Jordan Fringe on YouTube. Obviously, right now, covering a lot of Spyro news and whatever's being talked about and shown off for the game. But I'm working on a brand new big series of stuff that's nostalgic to me, that's like an actually well put together like video and not just the news on Spyro. So there is something to look forward to other than that. And then on Twitter, same thing, Jordan Fringe. And yeah, that's about it for me, honestly.
You want to drop his channel in the chat, Evan?
I'm gonna work on that.
You get a chance. Cool.
I'll just drop mine first. There's my Twitter, and then I'll work on Jordan Fringe.
Cool. Yeah, we'll drop him in. We might as well make Jordan a mod anyway. There we go. Okay, cool. So now you can drop your channel in too. It's fine. So we're good on that. And then we got Max, Dreamcastguy. Where can they find him, man?
YouTube.com/Dreamcastguy. Subscribe if you haven't already. I got a bunch of big projects next week, but most importantly, the Mega Man X Legacy Collection review. It's already edited. That's going to be going up Tuesday morning. And then I'm going to be doing a really deep dive video, seeing if No Man's Sky is still a dumpster fire. So definitely.
that'll be, I'm sure that won't attract anyone who's really
I'm sure that video's going to get a lot of dislikes and a couple death threats. So be sure to check out that comment section. It's going to be lit.
And then we got Evan. Make sure you guys are following Evan on Twitter for his thoughts on games that he's reviewing and stuff, right, Evan?
Yeah, and things coming up from everywhere. Because it's not just Spawnwave that I'm doing stuff with. I got other stuff going on all the time.
He doesn't do anything else. He just does Spawnwave. Actually, he does a lot of artwork. You guys got to check him out on there because he does. A lot of guys ask about his artwork. He posts a lot of it on Twitter as he finishes stuff, and whenever he actually draws it on Twitch and stuff, he actually stream it on there. It's pretty cool. So how about we do, okay, so this is CND's stream there, so you guys can go bug him, get his attention, say hi, like his video and all that good stuff. And that's going to do it, guys. Episode 68 for Spawncast. Thanks for everyone joining us, and we'll be back next next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Do it all over again. See you guys then.